one and all on this second day of the International Yoga Conference, Mat to Mind. We'll be having 5 esteemed keynote speakers addressing different topics on yoga, followed by a practical session. So, to begin with, I would like to welcome our first keynote speaker of the day, Dr. Renu Mahatani. Let's give a big round of applause. I request Sopan Kangne sir to kindly felicitate Dr. Renu Mahatani. Let's give a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel privileged to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Renu Mahatani, a prominent figure in the field of holistic health and yoga therapy. With an extensive background in medicine and a passion for integrating traditional healing practices, Dr. Mahatani brings a unique perspective to our conference. Dr. Mahatani holds an MBBS and MD in medicine with additional certifications in yoga therapy from prestigious institutes in Bangalore and Kaivalyadham through Pune University. She is also a fellow in metabolic and nutritional medicine from the United States and an international associate for yoga therapy. As the founder of the Autoimmunity Treatment Center and Param Yoga in Pune, Dr. Mahatani specializes in managing autoimmune and degenerative diseases through a holistic approach. Her expertise encompasses various modalities, including breath therapy, yoga, and therapeutic Pilates aimed at optimizing health and well being. Dr. Mahatani is also a prolific author with 2 books to her credit, Power Pranayam and Power of Posture, which explore the healing potential of breath work and mindful alignment for a pain free life, respectively. Her work has been translated into multiple languages, reflecting its global significance. As accomplished orator and educator, Dr. Mahatani conducts workshops on topics ranging from vitamin D and magnesium therapy to office yoga and emotional health. Her commitment to social causes is evident through her involvement in projects like Project D Magic and her role as Mrs. Pune in 1997 and a Goodwill Ambassador to the US Rotary International. Dr. Mahatani's professional affiliations include memberships in prestigious organizations such as American Board of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine and the Malaysian Association for Advancement of Functional and Interdisciplinary Medicine, amongst others. Let us give a warm welcome to Dr. Renu Mahatani, whose expertise and dedication to holistic wellness promise to enrich our conference proceedings. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Sure, sure. Hello, hello. Namaste, good morning. Thank you so much for this invitation and this very, very warm welcome. Well, so I always feel very nice when I see a crowd of smiling people, a very warm environment here, like a very, homecoming. That feeling comes when you come to such a place. So I'm really happy to be here today. And English is okay, right? English and Hindi mix, huh? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just share some thoughts about something so vital, so crucial as our breath, right? Breath is actually an affirmation of life in us. And not only do common people, or including us, we take it so much for granted. And many of us follow techniques, follow different practices of breath work, pranayam. And I'm sure there are many small, small factors, some nitty-gritties which need to be understood to make our practices really gratifying, satisfying, and joy-giving. So can I get a collar mic, please, later? Yeah, thank you. Or even this hand mic will do. No problem, this is okay. Hello. Hello. थोड़ा volume देखिए थोड़ा सा. Okay. I prefer this. And this is the pointer. Huh? All right. So I'm sure I'm in such a congenial environment where your pranayam are, given the due respect. And we all know how popular pranayam is. I remember 20 years back, maybe a little more than that, 25 years back, it was not known. Thanks to so many personalities, thanks to the media for making this technique known to us. Right. So in today's time, we don't want roti kapda makan, isn't it? We all have it by divine grace. What do we really need? Energy? I'm sure you'll agree with me. We all need energy, right? To be able to perform our respective duties and everything well. Then what else we need? Happiness. Yeah, yes, coming to that. Happiness. Don't we want to be happy? Yeah? So we want energy, we want happiness, and right, like you rightly said, we want to be healthy. We want good health, right? So now these three things, no money can buy. No money can buy. They are a part of well-being, something which we cannot really quantify. Medicine, we have so many tests. There's not a single test which can tell that, oh, I have so much kilogram of well-being and she has so much kilogram of well-being. So it's very difficult to quantify it, but this intangible factor, which cannot be measured, it governs the tangibles. Psychosomatic diseases, we talk about them. 90% of diseases today are coming from the mind. So this mind factor cannot be tangibilized. Similarly, well-being cannot be tangibilized. But the good news is, there is a powerful tool given to us, this living human body, our breath, which can give us all three: health, happiness, and energy. Right? Let's see how quickly. So let's see the energy aspect first. The word itself, prana, pranayam, right? Prana means that life energy which is governing every function of this human personality. So pranayam is talking about this life energy, doing something to it. And yes, although we cannot measure it in terms of a unit, we have proof. ECG, we hear about it. You take because this question was asked to me by many of my so-called colleagues and contemporaries. Hey, initially, what talking about pranayam? How do you know? How do you prove it? I said, take an ECG of a patient. The electrical waveform is a proof, right? And what is the ECG of a dead body? Straight line. There is no electrical activity. So what more proof we want? Yes? So there is prana. And how does it manifest in ourselves? At the level of our physical body, it is our energy. At the level of our mind, chitta, it is our mental energy, the thought process. At the level of intellect, it's our buddhi, intellectual energy. And even our spiritual energy is a manifestation of this prananas. So when we do pranayam properly with the right attitude also, we get prana. Friends, at this juncture, off track before this slide, I will like to share a point which touched me. Because 35 years I've been into medical practice and pranayam and yoga and all. We see people doing the best of techniques. Best of techniques. They have a beautiful, disciplined life and, they're doing the best. But yet, they're not happy, they're not healthy, and they don't have the energy which is expected to be there. The question is why? Any answers? Sorry? Somebody said that. Attitude. Right. Great. It's the individual attitude that matters. So if the same person has, let me be a little crude in talking, black and white in talking, a negative attitude, and you know what all it covers up. I don't want to get into that. Huh? You know what happens? This entire pran, which has been obtained with techniques, is getting short-circuited. It's like a drain of prana. So there is no retention of prana in the pranic body. So it's very true, our attitude in life governs the outcome of the practices. So energy conservation, energy getting is important, and equally important is energy conservation. So we have our yamas, niyamas, so much of spiritual knowledge in it, how to develop a right attitude. And it's great to see all those things being covered up. So next aspect is we want to be healthy. We don't want to have diseases, right? So when somebody has an approach to holisticity, we won't be treating diseases like a tip of an iceberg with only medicines or only physical things, right? So breath work, mind work, attitude, it's like approaching the whole thing holistically to get better results on the health. I'm sure you'll agree, depression, anxiety, all these things are so much on a rise. Once again, we can't quantify them. You talk to a youngster, I'm depressed. I don't feel like doing this. I'm anxious. So these are very common things which can be beautifully dealt with this wonderful science. In fact, today I'm going to share a very unique technique with you all. Technique which is an antidepressant, something to overcome brain fatigue, something which you can call anti-aging, right? Technique which is not commonly known in the domain of pranayam, but it comes from India, not known to Indians, studied in the West, and documented, right? So we're going to do that in a while. Right, third factor, we want to be happy. When somebody is in stress, we are not happy, right? So that happiness takes us to stress management. And stress which is giving problems is called as distress, like we all know. So we have to deal with it. Life is like this, man, too many problems, too many demands, and it's like a clutter. Traffic jam, not only on the roads, but in our mind too, of the thoughts, of the demands on us. And this stress bomb explodes some or the other time, giving rise to so many problems. So I thought, let me make it simple. Mathematical equation about stress. Distress or the bad stress is equal to what? Stressors upon resources. So stressors could be a traffic jam, it could be some person in our life, and lack of money or whatever. So we all have stressors, which many times we can't reduce. They are there. So the lower part, the denominator of the equation, is resources, which is an inverse relationship. So if we have more resources, our distress can become less. And friends, I'm sure you know, one of the resources we have is our breath, which nature has given to us. Even a newborn child comes with that, and we have to nurture it properly, our breath. So the time for mindful breathing as a tool to stress management. Now we'll go on a little interesting journey. How our breath and mind are related in practical terms. We're going to talk very, very practical and simple. I'm sure you'll agree that when we are calm, we are relaxed, our breathing is how? Nice and deep, and you enjoy your breaths. What happens when we are anxious? Like a bride of the past, there was anxiety. Nowadays, there is no anxiety, by the way. So, think of a bride of the past. What will happen? How will things go? And in today's time, where is the anxiety? You're driving on the road. Will I reach on time? A two-wheeler suddenly comes from the front. Oh God, I'm hit. So many things we face in life. And how does our breath become that time? Very shallow, very erratic. Sometimes you realize, oh, I'm not breathing. And then suddenly you'll take a sigh. So how erratic our breaths are. The life situations are reflecting on the breath. Another example of anxiety. I'm sure we have gone on these jhulas. How the breath, if you're in one of those dangerous jhulas, right? When you're at the peak of the stress of the jhula, you stop breathing. And once you come back, it's over. That sigh comes out. So everything is reflecting on the breath. And what happens when we are angry? The breath is also hot. The breath is also, I'm going to tell that person, how dare you do that? So the breath also becomes fiery and hot. And this is so interesting. Sigh of relief. Thank God the exams are over. Thank God the guests have gone. How do we breathe? Take a sigh, all of you. Come on. See? Now, question. Are you inhaling or are you exhaling that time? Just note that. Keep in mind. Okay? So, whenever you take a sigh, we exhale. We'll never inhale that time. When we'll inhale? A snake dropping here. Think about it. So, where there's stress, mehman aa gaye. You know? So, so see how the breath is the language of the mind. And the point you rightly said, whenever you take a sigh of relief. Relief means de-stressing. De-stressing. We are exhaling. Just keep that in mind, okay? So, this brings us to the point, exhalations are important. Even in today's time, I see many, stress management workshops, even yoga workshops. They say take deep breaths. They're very good. Totally agree. But the point is, how do I take a deep breath? If today we say take a deep breath, what we'll do, most of us? We inhale. First thing is we want to inhale. And then a noisy breath. This can never be helpful, right? The point is the entire science of pranayama is making us understand the value of actually exhalations, not really inhalations. We are inhaling. Our exhalations are poorer. So the focus becomes through any practice on exhalation, because when we exhale, we are not just, sort of removing the toxins and the carbon dioxide from our system, but the lungs are so elastic that after you exhale, your inhalations become even better. They become better automatically. I had a very nice teacher of pranayama when I was taking a course with Dr. Dean Ornish in the US for heart and cancer patients. She said, in our culture, we are taught how to take. We are not taught how to give. So when we start exhaling well, we actually learn to give better. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? What a nice correlation she brought into my mind. Plus, when you give, it is said, na, you, dene wale ko Bhagwan deta hai, right? So a person who's going to exhale well will automatically inhale well also. Then what happens at the neurological level? Are you all little aware of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, all of you? Great, saves the time. So, stress response is sympathetic, right? And the so-called relaxation response is parasympathetic. So, the beauty, when we exhale, we are triggering or stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system. So it is nullifying the effects of stress that has accumulated in our physiology. So when we exhale out well, we are becoming more parasympathetic. And then that feeling all is good, all is well. So mind and breath are deeply correlated. Our breath is like the mind reflecting itself. And so the good news, if you change your breath, or you enhance your, let us say, or you improve the quality of your breathing, we improve the quality of the mind too. And kosha-wise also, if you think about it, Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha. Although they are not physical demarcations, but functionally, you do anything with the Pranamaya kosha, it benefits both sides, Annamaya kosha and the Manomaya kosha. And now science has proven it very beautifully that when we do deep mindful breathing, it is working on certain parts of the brain which is good for us, right? And beneficial to us. And like, sorry. Okay, doesn't matter. So as I just mentioned, the autonomic nervous system, the red thing shown out there is the sympathetic response that if there's a stress, if there's a lion coming in this room, what will we do? Fight or flight response. People who are near the door will run away. People who are at the back will pick up a danda or something. Lion aaye to maru, So it's a fight or flight response. And that's triggered or mediated by the sympathetic nervous system in the form of increase in heart rate, increase in blood pressure, increase in our sugar levels, suppression of the digestion. See, these are all symptoms of today's diseases. Huh? So we are all on a sympathetic overdrive in today's time with the chronic stress we all are living. And to balance it out, well, friends, parasympathetic. And one easy tool which is available to one and all, because we all are breathing. Nobody can say, I'm not breathing, right? We all are breathing. And we start utilizing our breath to our own advantage. Yeah. So, the thing I mentioned, inhalations are sympathetic and exhalations are parasympathetic. So beautiful it is. Science is proving what our yogis said. So what we are going to now do with this little background that I've given to you, few techniques which are so simple, right? But we are going to talk about them so that we can implement it a little better with a greater understanding, is belly breathing. Simple, I'm sure you'll say, hey, kya bata rahi hai? Belly breathing, mere ko to aata hai. Doesn't matter. Thoda sa revision. Then something to do with the wonderful practice of Kapalbhati. Yeah, we all know Kapalbhati, and it's like one small aspect of it which can turn the table. We'll talk about a little bit about Anulom Vilom, the new technique I'm going to tell you on rhythmic breathing, and last something about humming techniques like Brahmari and Om chanting. Friends, pranayam and the science of breathing is a treasure house of techniques. Please don't limit your minds to only those 7, 8, 10 things which we know. Probably there is, we are limited because we're not aware, it's not our fault. But there are so many techniques, you can't imagine. Yeah? Like there's so many asanas. There are so many techniques also in the field of pranayam. So let's move on to belly breathing. So I just mentioned that whenever we think of taking a deep breath, we focus first on the inhalation. Friends, the focus should be on exhalation, because then we will not make a mistake. And what is a mistake? Should we do a small experiment? And let's be very honest about it, right? We all can be making an error, it's fine, right? So first thing is, we are not going to sit with our backs resting on the chair. First thing. Reason being, I'm sure you know, in olden times, we never had chairs when yoga was conceived. We were not only sitting on the floor. If we had a platform to sit on, we were forced to sit straight. The moment we get these back supports, the tamas of the mind takes us back. Aram. Yeah? We look forward to comfort everywhere. And in that whole process, we have actually lost the muscle strength needed to keep us healthier. So that's not my topic today, otherwise I'll move on to something else. So let's sit straight. Come to the front of your chair, please. Yeah? And now the experiment is going to be taking deep breaths. All right? We all are going to take deep breaths and notice what's happening to the belly. When I'm inhaling, is the belly going out or coming in? So simple it is. So aankhein band karte hain. Should we close our eyes? Yeah? And let's take some deep breaths. Our own personal deep breaths. 2, 3. लंबा सांस लें और देखें पेट को क्या होता है. पेट अंदर जा रहा है कि पेट बाहर आ रहा है. All right, enough time given. So how many of us feel that when you were inhaling, your belly was coming out? Please raise your hands. Okay. And how many of us had the different one, that when you are inhaling, your belly is coming in? Andar khich raha hai? No one. Wow. That's an achievement, huh? But the people who raised their hands were not 100%, huh? Mind you. So anyways, coming to the point, when we inhale, right, since the volume of your lungs is getting more, the diaphragm, that muscle, descends, and the belly should be getting sort of coming out. We're not supposed to push it out. Our bellies are already out, huh? So don't over push them. 2024, okay? So we just allow the belly to relax. And when we exhale, was the belly coming in is the question too. Or was it there only? Going in? And how many of us said वहीं रुकी हुई थी? वो भी चलता है, हाँ? Okay, fine, confusion. So, now it's the point. Observe how a newborn baby breathes, huh? They are all belly breathers, huh? Naturally. If you have a pet at home, a dog, a cat, a rabbit, birds, just observe them. They are all belly breathers. We were belly breathers when we were welcome to the planet. But later we became adults, highly intellectual adults, anxious adults. Everything goes up and up and up, and we forgot the value of belly breathing. So in today's time, we need reminders. Chala, pet chala. Otherwise, we will not do it on our own. We've forgotten the natural breathing. So belly breathing connects us to our basic nature of breathing. And the best way to not make error or see that our so-called yoga clients or members or patients don't do an error, start by breathing out. Because honestly, without knowing, 50% of the people are reverse breathers. Means ulta karte. वो सांस लेंगे और पेट अंदर अंदर जाता है, बाहर नहीं निकलता है. Because they are actually lifting the chest up. Right? And the belly is getting sucked in. This is called paradoxical or reverse breathing, and one cause of hypertension because it is sympathetic nervous system being activated. So the moment we do belly breathing or we correct it for our people, we are actually giving them like an antihypertensive. And it is noted, 50% of hypertension can be corrected with only abdominal breathing. So we start by breathing out, and we can tell them, okay fellows, keep your hands here, and when you breathe out, become slim. Then everybody will do it correctly. Huh? So you breathe out and let your belly get sucked in, so that when you inhale, it will automatically relax. Please don't push it out. This was instruction when man in the past had six-pack abs, okay? Tight abs. They were farmers, hard-working people on the fields, tight muscles. Where are we tight? We are all loose, right? So we don't throw the belly out. We have to see we are living in 2024. I'm sure you'll agree with that. Okay, so belly breathing is so simple. Exhale, belly in. Inhale, belly relaxes. And you can never make an error, and at the same time, you can do it for a long time. But if it's wrong breathing, types 3, 4, and you're puss. Can't take it more. Okay, so belly breathing is like charging our batteries. The way we charge our cell phones, we can charge our own batteries with this good breathing, doing it a few times in the day whenever we feel tired. 1 second. Right, so there it is. When we inhale, the first picture, the diaphragm descends and the belly is supposed to be nice and soft. And when we exhale, today we have to put an effort. पेट अंदर खींचना पड़ता है, वो अपने आप नहीं जाता है. तो pull करके, and then we develop a nicer tone in our belly, which is important. Otherwise, I think it is not. Yeah. So this belly breathing, we even teach to corporates and people in the office that you have no time. Come on, sitting on your chair, do it. And get your energy levels up. And it has positive impact on the digestion, positive impact on our sluggish metabolism of today. Yeah, poor metabolism. So we work through the solar plexus, Nabi chakra, Hara chakra, Dantian, whatever we want to call, but in a little more deeper way. Then, something very important, related to posture and breathing. So common, right? Even unknowingly now, many of us will be sitting with our heads, chins jutting forward. And if the computer is in front of us, we are going to be chins coming forward, right? So we'll do an experiment now. And the experiment is so simple. You're just going to do the wrong thing first. Push your chins out. Notice how your breaths are, and then just glide your head back. The way a pigeon does, कबूतर करता है ना, सर पीछे. और देखिए उसका सांस पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. It's a very vital point. Okay? So request, forget the back of your chairs, please. थोड़ा आगे आ जाइए. Right? Now, let's close our eyes to be more observant, obviously, and push the chin forward. Chin को आगे करिए. और देखिए सांस कैसी है आपकी. आप आंखें बंद रखना, खोलना मत प्लीज. हाँ अभी. Be with yourself. Notice your breaths. Now glide your chin in. अपने चिन को अंदर लीजिए और देखिए सांस पे कुछ फर्क होता है क्या. And the chin is parallel to the ground. समानांतर, धरती के समानांतर है. ओके, वापस एक बार चिन को आगे करिए, आगे लीजिए और देखिए सांस पे क्या असर होता है इसका. अब चिन को हम बहुत माइल्ड तरीके से अंदर ग्लाइड करेंगे, पैरेलल टू द ग्राउंड, एंड नोटिस व्हाट्स हैपनिंग टू योर ब्रेथ्स. Oh, Shanta. Okay. Yeah. When? So when the chin was out, the breath was shallow. The breath was faster because you were probably compensating for your shallow breaths, right? And the moment we tuck the chin in, yes, relax, deeper, better. Sorry? Yes. Heaviness on the head. So when we were doing wrong, let's put it like that. When the head, neck, spine were not in one line. We say in yoga, no? Bring your head, neck, spine in one line. So it's not just sitting straight with the chest lifted. It's about slightly getting the chin in the right position. Huh? Of course, you're not going to over tuck in also. Then again, you're going to cut off your breath. So you have to find that middle point. And this is simple yogic principle. Samam kaya shiro griva. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Amazing it is. There also we are being told to keep the alignments of head, neck, spine in one line. And think about it, how wrong we are throughout the day, chins jutting forward, not aware, even our children do it, right? So the best way to teach them is, teach them the breath experience. Otherwise they don't listen, no? Why will they listen? Nahi karne ka. So, chin in, see you're breathing well. Hey, who doesn't want to breathe well? Point number 2, there's a better blood supply going to the brain. Otherwise, you're cutting off the oxygen and even the blood supply through the carotid arteries to our brain. So just see how this small posture tip made our breath better. And think of people who are doing the best of practices with their chins jutting out. I have seen people doing Kapalbhati. Anulom Vilom. So where is the breath going? Where is it really reaching us? So very fine point, but very important. And friends, by correcting this head, neck, spine alignment, you can even prevent the neck pain, the cervical spondylosis, which all eventually comes up. Okay? So this was a pointer I wanted to definitely bring. Otherwise, the life is like this. Everyone has a computer in front. Everybody's head wants to get inside the screen. We are so intellectuals nowadays. Huh? And that makes our breath shallow, erratic, poor breathing out. We discussed all that. Effect of wrong posture on breathing makes us reverse breathers. So before we embark on practicing pranayam, we need to do these small, small corrections. Okay? Then sitting. Many times people think that till they cannot sit on the floor, they cannot do pranayam. Sorry, I don't agree with this. Till we breathe, we all can do pranayam. We are not going on difficult things like plavini karna hai. We just want to correct our basic breathing, breathe well, and we can get the benefits. So why not? Okay? So sitting is important. At the same time, if somebody cannot sit on the floor, I'm sure you'll agree, kursi pe baith ke karo. ठीक है, chair आसन बोलते हैं ना आजकल. हाँ. Now the point is, if sitting on the floor, first picture is a different type of back you can see. Second is a different type of back. Now both are wrong. And if somebody is sitting like this and doing pranayam, they'll say, "Po kya? Kamar dukta hai pranayam karne se." Hey, don't blame the pranayam, yeah. Sit correctly. We are blaming the pranayam. Kapalbhati karne se kamar dukta hai. Galat kar rahe. Posture is wrong. So we need to correct the postures. Huh? So now in the first picture, where the back and the hip joints are very tight. This is very common in young boys because hormonally also the muscles are tight. Huh? So if it is happening like this, it will not help. And the second is with an overlaxed body. Ulta. Huh? We tend to overlift the chest and see how the curvature of the lower back is overarched. This is going to give a backache. So what do? obviously get it straight, and to make it happen, the best thing is take a cushion. ये देखो, तकिया पे बैठ जाओ. Take a small cushion, sit on it. This will correct all the postural imbalances, and you will notice that you will start breathing well. Sitting on a cushion, whether on the floor or on the chair, can be very beneficial. Right? So this was a bit about belly breathing, posture, thoda sa corrections, whether it is the lower spine or whether it is the head and neck. Yes, please. She's asking, can we take wall support? Well, if somebody has a very weak musculature that they can't sit straight, take a wall support, but the wall support should not be like this. I'll show you, wait. Sorry. My muscles are on a Sunday. And muscles are like cement, okay? If the cement becomes weak, how will the bricks remain in alignment? How will the bones and the joints remain in alignment? We talk about alignment, friends, okay? So alignment is not just by using props. Alignment is by proper use of our muscles. The target is that. Have the right muscle strength, the right balance of flexibility and strength, so you don't need to use supports. But supports are very important because we need them right now. But remember that the moment you take a back support, don't go on a holiday. At the most, you can go back. Let your lower back touch the wall, and then many times you don't have to throw yourself completely back. Okay, right? So, okay, now Kapalbhati. Oh, this is so interesting. Let's do a run of Kapalbhati. Hardly 15-20 stroke karte. Abhi नाश्ता तो digest हो गया ना? हाँ, चलो. All right. So, what is the first prerequisite? Coming forward. You know, the chairs ka first half mein baithna is very good, because most of the chairs nowadays are declining back. Yeah, then it gives us backaches. Yeah. So that declining back, you should either keep a cushion to bring it level or come to the front half of the chair. Nice. Now, kapal and head, neck, spine correction. And now, आंखें बंद कर लीजिए, चाहिए तो एक 15-20 stroke करते हैं कपालभाति का. चलिए. Let's start, and those who are pregnant, menstruating, please don't do, right? And let's start. Yeah, go ahead. Ten. Okay, stop, please. Stop. Fine. So, time बहुत कम है, वरना बहुत experiment करते थे हम लोग. We should not be making too much noise while doing Kapalbhati. That's a quality in Kapalbhati. हाँ? क्योंकि ये आवाज आता है नाक के और चेहरे के stress का. No contortions on the face. If you smile and do it like Gautam Buddha's expression, the Kapalbhati gets deeper, because then you start using your belly more rather than your facial muscles. So just keep that in mind. Now the main point. एक और run करेंगे Kapalbhati का, and we stop the practice and notice what happens to the breathing after stopping. ठीक है? चलिए. So let's start. हल्का सा smile. देखो कितना मन शांत हो गया. हाँ? Kapalbhati. आंखें बंद. Close your eyes. Okay, and आंखें बंद रखिए and stop and see what happens to your breathing. कुछ हुआ. चलो. So, बहुत कुछ हुआ. All right. So, time come here. Point is, did you notice your breathing stop for a while? Yes. And then, wonderful. And then after it resumed itself, it was deeper, better, calming, soothing. Yeah. So the point is, this is the completion of Kapalbhati. It's not in doing 1,000 strokes, 500 strokes, 10 minute kiya, 20 minute kiya. Doesn't matter. How you do is more important than what you do in everything, right? So here also, If you can't, if somebody cannot do 200 strokes or whatever, do 30, 40 strokes. Enjoy this so-called Keval Kumbhak, the pause that happens spontaneously, right? And that's the time the mind is totally parasympathetic. And there are no thoughts in the mind. We all talk about dharna. Dharna ho, dhyan ho gaya. We get a glimpse of that meditative mind where there are no thoughts. And then you can sustain it. Let the breaths come back, but the mind can sustain that calm, peaceful stance. So, doing Kapalbhati, not just once for 1,000 strokes and then feeling the pause, one can do smaller runs, and 1,000 is not the target. Huh? Even 300, 500 is good based on our starting point. And feel this Keval Kumbhak. Please, please teach it in your classes. And that's what will never give hypertension to the patients. People ask, I'm having high BP. Can I do Kapalbhati? So technique matters. If I'm making all the noises, I will get hypertension because of Kapalbhati. Yeah? But if I can feel the Keval Kumbhak, feel the pause and all, I'll be able to actually bring down the high blood pressure of the people. So, yes, ma'am. Position of the hand. See, honestly, one can do both ways. Finally, it's more important that we breathe correctly. But theoretically, Kapalbhati is a kriya. We are giving out. It's not really a pranayam. So in kriya, your hands better, because when you keep it on the knees, you can keep your back straight and do it more efficiently. Many times in the process of turning the hand, we can sleep off. Or not sleep off, at least we become slouchy, we become weaker in our muscle tones. So, see, all the, even the Tribandha, Mahamudra, all mein haath aise rakha jata hai to keep the spine straight. Sorry? नाम में क्या रखा है? कोई भी नाम दे दो. So this point is this Keval Kumbhak, the thoughtless state of mind, the meditative mind, the parasympathetic mind, hormonally the less of adrenaline mind. Yes, please. You'll have to give me more time, huh, Ujjwala? I'm answering in between. Huh? जी, थोड़ा आवाज जो आता है वो पेट से आ रहा है. That's fine. लेकिन ये नाक वाला आवाज नहीं चाहिए. See, versus ये because the air is being pushed due to abdominal muscle work. This is fine. Yeah, exactly. It's the belly muscles, belly, not the facial muscles. We tend to use the facial muscles also. We want to tell the whole house, देखो मैं कपालभाति कर रही हूँ. Yeah, so we make all these noises. So it has to be more of our own internal practice. Huh? Okay, right? Oh, sorry. Then this Nadi Shodhan Pranayam, I'm sure, just quickly touching, I don't want to miss that special technique. Please note that this Anulom Vilom too is a wonderful technique. What a mind our ancient seers had. Huh? Today science says that, wow, when you breathe from the right nostril, it is the left half of the brain. These are studies which have been done to show that there is more glucose uptake on the opposite cerebral hemisphere. Left nostril is on the right, right nostril on the left. So we are creating a balance between the two halves of the brain which are in a state of imbalance. We tend to be one hemisphere dominant than the other. So it's a wonderful practice, and I again request only to see that that is soundless. Yeah? Anulom Vilom could be no. It could be no sound. It's so beautiful. You don't feel like leaving it. Yeah. It's so, so beautiful. And this one, oh. So left versus right breathing is so good because it's found that we are predominantly one nostril breather. And then we have certain patterns of diseases in today's time. And when we do this balancing breath, we are creating a balance in our physiology, in our neurology, in our endocrine glands, in our hormones. It's mind-blowing. When science substantiates it, we say, wow. But think about the wow factor when they thought about these things. Huh? Now, this rhythmic pranayam, one of the techniques, let's do the technique, yeah, theory hatao. Huh? It's about finding the right ratios. So, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and also beautifully says that you increase the exhalation, right? Then later on you add the kumbhaks and all. Kumbhaks comes later, friends. Huh? Don't focus on kumbhaks from very early because we're not capable of doing it well. So one, like Swami Sachidanand, he was the founder of Integral Yoga, of course no longer there in physical form. He used to say that if you can have a ratio of 10:20 seconds, means 10 seconds inhaling, 20 seconds exhaling comfortably, then you are eligible to add kumbhaks, right? And we are hardly maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds breathers. So let's wait, not be in a hurry about kumbhaks. But rhythmic breathing first involves creating a rhythm between at least equalizing the inhale and exhale. Because in our regular breathing, we are inhaling small and we are exhaling smaller. So first, let's try to bring a balance because then it creates a synchronization between the heart, the breathing, and the brain rhythms. You must have heard about HRV and all, heart rate variability factors and all. So he's I always like to bring forward his name because he's not from India. He's in the US, Dr. David Chana of Khalsa, who's done a lot of research in special breathing techniques associated with the University of California in treating so many mental disorders and also these techniques, which I'm going to share with you, just one of it, I learned through him. And he always gives the credit to our country. Yeah. So let's do that, I think. Sorry? I'll have to keep the mic down, but I think I'm loud enough. टाइम नहीं है हाँ सो ये बहुत मस्त टेक्निक है इसमें क्या है हाउ डू वी ब्रीथ फर्स्ट ब्रेथ की बात करते हैं वी विल ब्रेक अवर इनहेलेशंस इनटू 4 पार्ट्स टू स्टार्ट विथ आइडियली इट इज 8 बट वी विल डू 4 पार्ट्स टू इनहेलिंग एंड 4 पार्ट टू एक्सेलिंग मुझे एक सांस को 4 भाग में तोड़ा है कैसे I'll make a little noise so you can and you will be making little noise here like in Bhastrika for example you make noise here it's okay it doesn't mean everything has to be noiseless huh? So, how is it? 4 बार सांस लिया, sorry 4 पार्ट्स में लिया और छोड़ना भी 2 राउंड करते हैं चलिए 4 3 2 1 in out 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 in out 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 in out 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 ठीक है ओके हो गया ठीक है थैंक यू सो लेट मी लुक लाइक शाहरुख खान 1 सेकेंड ये ऑन कहाँ से हेलो सॉरी Can you hear me? Hey, nice. Thank you, Bhaiya. Okay. So, saans ka ho gaya. Now keep the saans aside. We're going to do some physical movements. What? We're going to keep our elbows by the side of the body and our hands are one palm turned up, one palm is turned down. All right? And we create this type of movement. Simple. Very easy. Our elbows are touching the side of the body. And it's a tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. How come this awaz is happening? You know what? You're not supposed to tap it on your thighs, in the hawa. Hawa mein. And it's not a big movement. Wait, abhi to challenge aane wala hai. It's a small movement, rhythm. It's like you started playing the tabla. Now we are going to superimpose a breath on it. So this 4-part breathing we will do here. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. In, out, out, one more. In, out, out. So there were so many people. Are you already? Not for me. Let this be transferred to the creator. Yeah? Okay, I'm just sharing. So, creator of this technique, Yogi Bhajan from the Himalayas. Okay? This is for him. Okay. Let's do it, because many could not. Simple. वो भी ठीक है. Many of us could not do that synchronization. Some were, how? Yeah, it's common, right? So this is common. Nothing to worry. So we are learning something new. So you're using certain pathways. Now let's try one more time. जो हथेली पहले ऊपर था उसको नीचे करो और जो नीचे था उसको ऊपर टर्न करिए. So that you are giving that equal exercise to the two sides of your brain. ठीक है, चलो let's start. So पहले केवल टिक टॉक करेंगे, then we will superimpose the breathing. So tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. 4, 3, 2, 1. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. In, out, out. Very nice. In, out, out. One more, okay? In and out, out. Awesome. There were some people who were doing only this. I know that. Very nicely. Camera, But that's okay. We all are learning. So, क्या दोनों पे ध्यान देना मुश्किल हो जाता है. It's like multitasking. Multitasking of something new. So it's fine. Practice, homework. Okay. Now what you did here in this method, when you were doing it, hello, can you hear me? Yes. So what you were doing, you were stimulating your left and right half the brain, tick tock, and then you said, chalo साथ में प्राण भी डालते हैं. So you did the breathing. So you were infusing the two sides of the brain with the pran and new pathways between the left and right. Hey man, that is anti-aging actually. Yoga is so beautiful. Right हाथ से बायां पैर छुओ, बाएं हाथ से दाहिना. Why? Whenever you cross the midline, you create connection between the two sides of the brain. So same thing was happening here. It's so beautiful. Science is beautifully explaining things now. Okay, now the challenge. 6-part. Ideal technique is 8-part, mind you. 8-part to your breath. तो हम लोग 6 तो ट्राई करते हैं, ठीक है? We'll try the 6, ठीक है? तो अभी सांस को 6 भाग में तोड़ना है. कैसे? छोड़ने का 6 में, लेने का, ठीक है? तो इसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? सांस के पार्ट को छोटा करना. If you'll keep it बहुत बड़ा, can't. Yeah? So you're not taking 6 breaths. You're breaking one breath into, जैसे नहीं खाना अच्छा होता है, अच्छा बनाए, that type of sniffing action. So let's practice it first. 4, 3, 2, 1. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. One more. In. Awesome. Yeah, we are experts. Now भी इसके साथ करने का है. So थोड़ा सा हल्का सा फास्ट करेंगे तो हो जाएगा. So let's start the tick tock first. चलो tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick. Hey, don't make this sound, वरना क्या होगा? इसी sound पे ध्यान जाएगा, breathing पे नहीं जाने वाला. Tick tock, tick tock. 4, 3, 2, 1. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. In, out, 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 out. One more. In and out, 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 out. अब आंखें बंद, हाथ नीचे. Notice your breaths and mind. Notice your mind and just your mind. I am very sure there are no thoughts. It's an absolutely calm, meditative mind. ऐसे कि किसी ने सफाई कर दी, अब एकदम साफ हो गया मन. And that's the beauty of these breathing practices. Everything physical that we do has a mental correlate. And we miss that. So when you experience it, that experiential aspect makes it that wow factor, and then we do it with more confidence and we teach it with more confidence. So challenge tha, I know, same challenges, it's all about practice. So once this way, and this really makes you fresh. It's like you had a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. So this is one example of rhythmic breathing, just a glimpse of it. It has some other parts to it as well. Sorry, we can not do everything right now, but note that, wow, they are, and these techniques can be taught to your patients, to your people, to your clients in your classes. Huh? At least 4-4 karo. Wahi kara do, that's enough, sorry. Don't think about the stomach here because it's about your entire chest. So here is not Kapalbhati. Don't focus on the belly. Focus on the coordination and the synchronization. You're taking it above that, huh? Okay? Yeah. It's not Kapalbhati. Good question. Because see, Kapalbhati mein it's all active exhalation. Here it is breaking into active inhalations and active exhalations, right? So it's all more on the chest. Sorry? This is more chest breathing. You can say your Bhastrika is like being broken into parts. Huh? Now coming to Bhastrika, I have to say that. Huh? Bhastrika is not lifting the chest, please. Yeah? Bhastrika is sides of the chest. Your, what do you call them? Lower 6 ribs. What's floating ribs, correct. The floating ribs, thank you, have to open and come in. So the practice is, like this. This action rather than, so that's good breathing. Anything you ask, something from there? Okay, fine. Then last, little bit about chanting, humming, which we all do, whether it is Om chanting, it's so beautiful, right? It's amazing. Chanting is one thing which is very powerful. It's a power pack, everything in that. And friends, when you chant, you exhale. Nobody can chant while inhaling. That will be out of the world. Huh? So whenever we are humming Om or Brahmari, it's a exhale. And when we hum or do any of the two, we are prolonging our exhalation to 3 times, 4 times without realizing it. Just think how parasympathetic it is. Yeah? At the same time, just making it too long, like sometimes like you say you're humming, and you want to make it long, so so when you end, it's like, this is wrong. Yeah, because these are the technical errors we do. In that aim of prolonging, we make it so long that sari hawa khatam ho jati and then it's a need for petrol. Yeah? So it's always good to do it to your capacity so that when you stop, there is a keval kumbhak. Even post-chanting, there's a small keval kumbhak, which in Om, the Adhi Matra bolte na, 1, 2, 3, and that half is a silence. So we have to feel that silence and then take the next inhalation and do the chanting. Okay, so just keep these few things. And there's one more thing. Difference between Om and Brahmari. There's a difference, right? Let us say not Om. The Ma of Om, that Ma and the Brahmari, it sounds the same. Say I'm saying the Ma of Om, and what is Brahmari ka sound? It is Na, N. Big difference. Big difference. We don't realize it. So when we do Brahmari, we are doing the Khechari Mudra. Tongue up, touching the roof of the mouth. And when you do that, the sound becomes palatal. It's not a labial sound. The ma, mama is ma, 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 lips, labial. Na, na. Your tongue goes to your palate. It's a palatal sound. So when we do Brahmari, it's a na. And I say ma ka, sounds the same. But the vibration is totally different. Huh? 1 minute करके देखें? हाँ? चलो हम लोग क्या करेंगे? We will just do the humming of ma, which only you will know. I can't differentiate. Ma, and halfway उसको न बना दो. देखो क्या होता है टंग को. हाँ. And see where you feel the vibration of the ma and where you feel the vibration of the na. ठीक है? 3 बार करते. So let's close our eyes. Breathe in and start your ma first. And now आधे में ना करो. ना कर दो इसको. Repeat, inhale. Ma करिए फिर ना. Make it now. See, you're exhaling so long, huh? Now inhale. Start with the ma. Make it na. Keep your eyes closed, huh? Feel that calm mind, thoughtless mind, then the chanting and humming is complete. Well, friends, sorry, but I have to ask you to open your eyes, yeah? So, ma and na was different, yeah? The vibrations of the ma are more cerebral, means peripheral, face, the cerebral cortex that we have, and the vibrations of the na is more axial, through your midline, inside. So it is going along your brain stem, the hypothalamus, limbic system, and the center of the, so beautiful it is. Just imagine what a lovely massage you're giving to your brain cells, and both are important. Both are important. No, nothing is less important or more important. So I think with this, friends, I am going to take a pause and stop here. It was great to be here and given this platform to share these super simple things. Huh? Thank you. Thank you so much. One or two questions? One question. Okay. Huh? Sorry? Oh. Hey, come on, yaar. You will need practically करके तो देखो यार. How can you be only inhaling, yaar? Huh? Sorry. Maybe I didn't understand. 4 parts. Huh? Ah, okay. Got it. See, I understand these are these techniques which we do in like a warm-up before pranayam. They are mentioned in many of the yoga books also. Stepped breathing, Vilom, there are names given to that. So you step in inhalation and then exhale. Step in inhalation, exhale. And then inhale and steps in exhalation. This you can do for your practice. Why not? But honestly, it will be very difficult to coordinate. Say, for example, you're inhaling. I don't know. How will that be? You will not be able to create the rhythm. So you practice your breathing separately. No problem to bring that breath stamina. But here it's about learning how to coordinate. So we anticipate that as yoga practitioners, we know part breathing, right? But here it's about the coordination. So you can do all that like a homework or something. No, this is not. This is different. It's about learning how to coordinate, yeah. Okay. Any more question? Uske baad, haan, bolo. Because, good question. Why do we stop breathing after Kapalbhati? See, Kapalbhati is a hyperventilation. You are breathing more. So you are flushing out the carbon dioxide and then you are getting more oxygen in return. So there is, chemically, your brain can do without the act of breathing. So there is a natural, no need. Till the demand comes in and then our chemoreceptors, they sort of trigger it. So that is the initial process. But then when you start enjoying it, you realize, wow, I don't feel like breathing, yeah. Thoda aur kaam chalega. That is how the brain starts working. Yeah, I'll answer yours. Last question. Bol.
Explicitly, we do it with our body. Other kriya.
Arey, breath ka shuddhi kriya hai na. Through the breath, you're doing a shuddhi kriya. In Kapalbhati, it's a shuddhi kriya because breath, oxygen, XYZ is working through your entire system. It's so purifying, right? You're removing the carbon dioxide from your entire blood, from your entire circulation. Of course, you can't do 2 times and say, maine Kapalbhati kar liya, right? You have to do it to make it happen. So through the breath is neat. That's what we take our breath for granted. We don't realize what all it is doing to us. So when we understand the value of the breath, hey man, it is needed for every function, every cell of your body. So it works like a purification, whole body, not just the lungs and the throat or whatever. I hope I answered your question. Ha. Keval Kumbhak is after doing the run. Correct. 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 Yeah. So Keval Kumbhak is cleansing of the mind. You're detoxifying the mind of all the thoughts. The physical practice is detoxifying the blood, the cells, blah, blah, blah. And Keval Kumbhak is a mind detox. Aaj ki bhasha mein. Mental detox. So it works, huh? Yeah, okay. So there was a last thing she asked, Bhastrika ka practice karna hai, kariye. Keep your hands here, you know, the floating ribs area. And start by exhaling. I always believe in that because it brings us on the right track. So when you exhale, your ribs get in and you're literally squeezing your hands into the ribs. And then when you inhale, your ribs are going to push your hands out. So exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. Got it? Exhale, inhale. You keep your hands and you'll feel it. Otherwise, hum chest uthane lagte. हाँ, फास्ट करोगे तो हो गया, भस्त्रिका की आवाज भी शुरू हो जाएगी. Exhale, inhale. So the movement is of your floating ribs and the diaphragm. Your hands are at the level of the diaphragm. Okay? I should be, yeah. Yeah, yes. So you're keeping your hand there, but you're lifting your chest up. वो नहीं होना चाहिए. So once you sit straight, see, if you're sitting properly and you're lifting your chest, what happens? What happened to my back? So your fulcrum becomes your lower back, yeah? And then we'll get a backache. So the fulcrum is not L5S1, right? Here it is about using the floating ribs or the lower ribs. Okay, practice. Chalo, thank you very much. Thank you, bye-bye. Thank you. So all the best to you all.
Thank you, ma'am. We request you to be seated. Thank you for such a mindfully fulfilling session. Your guidance on breathing techniques will surely help us heal oneself and also to take control of life through right breathing. Thank you once again, ma'am. Let's give a big round of applause. We have our next keynote speaker, Abhijata Iyengar. I request Dr. Pallavi Kavane to kindly felicitate Abhijata Iyengar. Let's give a big round of applause. It is my honor to introduce Abhijata Iyengar. She is the granddaughter of legendary BKS Iyengar and has been directly trained under him, as well as her aunt Geeta ji and uncle Prashant ji. Truly, the legacy runs in the family. And she also has an experience of teaching internationally and has led many conventions and workshops around the world. She leads the therapeutic classes at the institute where the people at various conditions come for relief. Her clarity and poise convey the teachings in a precise and easily accessible manner, enriching the lives of those who come to her. She holds a master's in bioinformatics. At the juncture of choosing her career, she was complementing a PhD when the trajectory of her life changed to make Iyengar Yoga her path. She has mentored and developed many teachers and continues to be the torchbearer for Guruji's system. She conducts regular classes at RIMYI while balancing her various roles in the world. So let's put our hands together for Abhijata Iyengar. Over to you, ma'am.
So just this or both? This is not needed. You want me to have both?
No, you can use this.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present in front of you what I have learned from my gurus on yoga. It gives me great pleasure to be here for the centenary of Maharashtra Mandal. And I saw the description of this conference, what all is going on in. So I would like to congratulate the organizers for thinking for envisioning something like this because yoga is extremely relevant in today's world. Now, I am a yoga sadhaka, or maybe just an abhyasin even, someone who is still learning what yoga is, who's still trying to unravel the mysteries of this subject. I just have, it is because of God's grace and Guru Kripa that today I'm able to represent Ramamani Iyengar Memorial Yoga Institute, the place that was set up in 1975 by my grandfather, late Yogacharya B.K.S. Iyengar. Now, let us go straight to the topic of yoga. Yog manje kai? Let us look at that first. Now, the texts are available. We are privileged to belong to a land of such a rich cultural heritage that we can depend on for knowledge, for wisdom, for light, for showing us the path when we are in distress, for showing us the path on how to lead life. So for that, we are extremely fortunate. Now, if we have to address the question of what is yoga, there are various texts, like I was telling you, that is describing yoga. For instance, if you take the Ahirbunya Samhita, it talks about yoga being samyoga yoga ityukto jivatma paramatmanaha, which is the union of the jivatma and the paramatma. Bhagavad Gita, yogastha karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Patanjali, yogas chitta vritti nirodhaha, yoga samadhi, says Vyasa. Now these theoretical descriptions are out there, but they are all out there. What is the use of these gigabytes of knowledge if it doesn't become a part of us? For instance, let me describe something to you. Imagine I have this in my hand, okay? Imagine I have something in my hand, and I'm telling you what this is. It's a sweet confectionery originating in the Indian subcontinent. Milk and cheese solids are prepared by heating milk over a low flame until the water content has evaporated and only the milk solids remain. The solids are kneaded with flour, and small balls of this dough are deep fried at a low temperature and then soaked in a light sugar syrup with green cardamom and sugar, rose water, saffron. What am I talking about? You see, so a theoretical description of something is one. What am I talking about? Sweet confectionery, heating, kneading, flour, cooling down, frying it, marinating it in a syrup. But what is it? It is gulab jamun. Now imagine how easy it would have been if I had just given you gulab jamun to taste. चवीला जर मी प्रत्येकाला एक गुलाबजामुन दिलं असतं तर किती सोपं झालं असतं. But I had मस्त झालं असतं. But now, if I had to depend on theory, this is what the theoretical description of gulab jamun is. Okay? So it was extremely difficult for me to even keep this in my mind, so I had it written down. And I'm sure it was difficult for you to estimate what I'm talking about. So this is the difference between theory and experience. Theory of what is yoga and experience of what is yoga. And here, I am extremely fortunate to have been under the tutelage of my grandfather, Guruji B.K.S. Iyengar, who actually gave each one of his students the gulab jamun directly. He gave each student the taste of what yoga is. He gave each student the experience of what yoga is. Yoga is like a magic room, okay? Now, can you just tell me, what is your desire in life? What do you want? Just volunteer to give me answers. If you had a boon, a wish come true, what would you wish for? Peace. A happy, peaceful life. That's all? Money. Money, happiness, success, health. Sorry? Louder. Health. Okay. So now, yoga is like a magic room. Depending upon what you seek, there is an opportunity for you to go towards that. So if it is health that you seek, yoga can offer you a pathway to get health. If it is peace that you are seeking, yoga can show you a pathway of how to get this peace. If you are seeking fitness, happiness, stress-free life, So depending upon what you want, yoga can give it to you. Now the point here is you need to devise how to get that particular thing from yoga. So somebody who would want fitness will have to look at yoga from that point of view. Somebody who wants peace will have to look at it in a particular manner. Somebody who wants to get rid of stress will have to look at it in a specific manner. So yoga, like a magic room, can give the sadhaka what he wants depending on the capability of the person, depending upon the technical skill of that person. Now, yoga is a very ancient subject, okay? Very, very ancient subject. Now think of all the ancient things that have gone outdated. Something as recent as 1980s also, for that matter. Landline phones. How many of you have landline phones at home? Not even half a dozen, okay? Telegrams, postal letters, going back to the time of even pigeons carrying letters. Ancient things are often outdated. But the thing with yoga is, in spite of being so ancient, it came with the Veda. In spite of being so ancient, yoga is still relevant today. Yoga is still contemporary today, and for that, we are blessed to have been born in this land. Now, yoga is a Shad Darshan. Shad Darshan manje kai? It gives you a darshan, it gives you a philosophical system for understanding truth. It gives you a system for understanding life. Now, in the contemporary world, what are the things that trouble us? Hectic lifestyle, unable to focus on what you really need, a conflict between, deciding what is it that I really want. So all these things which eat up your mental energy. For all of this, you need to build up your body system in such a manner that you are able to withstand the stress that life keeps throwing at you each time. And for this, the Darshana Shastra of yoga is extremely relevant today. Now, being a Shad Darshan, one of the Shad Darshans, it is about a philosophical system, which means understanding and knowing life, understanding and knowing the mind. But now if I tell each of you, now all of you, you told me you want peace. So if I tell you, okay, now close your eyes and be at peace. Close your eyes and think of everything that is wonderful. The moment you close your eyes, your mind, open your eyes if anybody is really closing, your mind is such that it can wander from point A to point B in an instant. Your body is right here in this campus. But close your eyes and in a moment, your mind can go to Japan, can go to the US, can even go to Mercury, Venus, or another galaxy. The mind is so fast that in one moment, it can travel infinite distance. So how do you understand this mind? It's a Darshana Shastra, but how do you understand this mind? Here, B.K. Iyengar's system is extremely beneficial. What it does is that, you see, for us, generally, the mind is abstract. If I tell you, know your mind, if I tell you, understand your mind, how do you do it? The mind is an abstract entity. You don't have any instruments in today's modern developed medical world that can actually look at the mind, see the mind, feel the mind, measure the mind. It can't. So the mind is an abstract entity. You and I view philosophy also as an abstract entity. So how do you understand one abstract entity using another abstract entity? Philosophy for mind or mind for philosophy? How do you do that? So here what Guruji Iyengar did is that he used a concrete system. He used the body which is concrete. If I tell you shoulders, you know about it. If I tell you legs, if I tell you back, if I tell you body, it's tangible. You can touch, you can feel, you can see. In the same manner, asana is a field of yoga that you can actually see, touch, feel, comprehend. So what B.K. Iyengar did was that he used the concrete asana to understand the concrete body, and with this understanding, we are able to travel to understand the abstract mind and the abstract philosophy. So using a concrete setup to understand an abstract notion. Let me quote B.K. Iyengar. Asana helps one to know the known fully and realize it. When the known, the body, is fully understood, then this known, which is finite, guides one to move beyond the known towards the infinite, the self or the Atman. Then the Atman is expressed through actions. Now, think of a situation in which you got hurt, in which you hurt your back, you hurt your neck, you fell while you were playing and you broke a bone. So your body was unwell. At that point, was your mind free, calm, and at peace? No. Think of a time when your mind was upset. You heard some breaking news, a shocking news, something sad in and around your closed ones, with your closed ones. So when your mind is afflicted with sorrow or distress, is your body having the energy? Does the body feel full of life that, come on, let me do this? Do you have that force? No. So the body and mind are so interwoven that you can't separate it. When the body is unwell, the mind is unwell. When the mind is unwell, the body is unwell. When the mind is happy, the body is light and fresh to undertake, to live life, and vice versa. So understand that this body and mind cannot be separated. To understand them, we can separate. It is like looking at an atom, and if you have to learn the proton, the neutron, the electron, you read them, you understand them separately. But you can't pick out each subatomic particle. They will not exist. They exist because of the force within them. In the same manner, our body and mind exist as a force which is integrated. Imagine if I were to come to this lecture only with my mind and no body. Okay? You would be afraid. You would leave the hall. And if I come here just with my body and no mind, I'm just going to stand here and you're going to be bored. I won't even know time is passing, so that doesn't work either. So let me quote B.K. Sanger here again. It is not possible to pinpoint where the body ends and the mind begins. It is not possible to pinpoint where the mind ends and the self begins. So, again, what B.K. Sanger Guruji did was he said, body is my first prop. Body is my first prop. It is the one thing that God has sent you to earth with. So whatever you have to do, whatever you want to do, whether it is success in life, whether it is peace, whether it is dhyana, whether it is spirituality, whether it is seva, whatever you want to do, you have to go for it with this body. It is something that you cannot neglect. Let us look at some asanas now. For instance, let us look at a certain category of asanas called the standing asanas. Come. Let us understand this concrete body. Let us understand this concrete asana system. Okay, while they set right the hall, the stage. The thing with yoga, just a minute, I'll just be in Tadasana. The thing with yoga is that it understands our system in a way which is very superior. They're not going to do anything until I tell them. So you can pay attention here. The system is so much superior. I'll tell you why. Suppose you have a back pain, okay, a pain because you've injured your back, you will take a painkiller, crocin. You get a headache because of stress, you take a painkiller. You get a headache because you are sleepless last night, you take a crocin. You have a headache because you have indigestion, you take a crocin. So the Western science looks at a painkiller as just a painkiller irrespective of what is causing the pain. Whereas what yoga does is it will not give the same medicine for pain because of a back injury, pain because of a headache, pain because of tension, pain because of depression, pain because of sleeplessness. Yoga will not give you the same remedy for that. And here, yoga stands tall over the Western medical sciences. Let us look at the standing poses. Start. Virabhadrasana 2, Parshva Konasana, Ardha Chandrasana, Virabhadrasana 1, Parshvottanasana, Prasarita Padottanasana, Parivritta Trikonasana, Tadasana. So if you look at these asanas, what they majorly moved were their arms, their legs, their trunk. You can sit, or you can move back. I'll call you again later. You know. So now these standing poses that you see, they work mainly on the karmendriyas. What are the karmendriyas? The indriyas of karma, organs of action. The arms, the legs. Okay. So now in these poses, what it does is that it gives health to your arms, to your legs. You know, these days, cervical spondylosis, neck pain is all in the rise. And the doctor says it's because you use your tablets too often, you use your devices too often, somebody using the computer too much, you get a pain here. So all these health issues that affect us, it comes because of either misuse, overuse, or disuse of our limbs of the body, the organs of action. Modernization has made life so much simpler, yes, but our usage of the body as a whole does not happen. Compared to our grandmothers, we are not as healthy. We are not so energetic as our grandmothers and grandfathers were. The thing is, modernization has brought this side effect where our limbs of the body are not in order. And when your limbs of the body, the arms and legs are not in order, it is going to directly impact your spine. Okay. Now the moment the spine is impacted, so the moment if anybody here with a slip disc, you have a dislocation, you have something wrong with your spine, like I told you in the initial part of my talk, that the moment the spine is affected, the spine is our main current. It's our main channel for the passage of current, of life force, of prana. If this spine is going to be affected, life is not as joyful as it can be. Life does not radiate with happiness that actually can, because our main traffic route for the flow of prana is obstructed. Now, stress and strain affects all of us. Think of any job. Think of parents, think of students, doctors, nurses, security, maids, traffic police, servicemen, army, whatever. Any job that you may take, stress and strain is a part of life. All right? Now, what do you need to face this stress and strain of life? You need to be physically fit. You need to be mentally alert. You need to be technically skilled. You need to be, you need the strength to resist injuries, and you need to be emotionally strong. If any of these factors fails, stress and strain is going to affect us. And you and I are common man. We are not saints that when the body or the mind is disturbed, we are still able to focus on the path of spirituality or look towards the Atman. You and I don't have that strength. So you and I are common man. Patanjali says in his Yoga Sutra, Janma, Aushadhi, Mantra, Tapa, Samadhi. From these factors, you can get supernormal powers. So some people are born with it, Janma. Some people with Aushadha. Some people with Mantra, Janma, Aushadhi, Mantra, Tapa, Samadhi. Okay, so some people may be born. So you look at saints. If they have a body disease, you read stories, it doesn't stop them from, experiencing the bhakti towards Vitthal or Parameshwar. It doesn't come in the way. Because it's the samskaras that they carry on with them that they are still able to look at the Atman or Paramatman, Seva, mankind, etc. But common man, we are not able to do that. So if when you have this injury in your back, you have your injury in your shoulder, I ask you to close your eyes because we all have to go for peace, P-E-A-C-E. It's not going to happen. The moment you close your eyes, you're only going to think about your back pain or your neck pain or your loose motions or your constipation or whatever is troubling you at that point. So here what Guruji Iyengar said is, yoga helps you to cure what can be cured. If there is something that can be cured, yoga helps you cure what can be cured, and it helps you endure what cannot be cured. We don't have an answer for everything. There are certain diseases for which there is no remedy. But Guruji said, yoga helps you, builds the strength in you to endure what cannot be cured. Okay, so understand this gift that yoga can give us. So once you make yourself resilient to these illnesses which can be cured, your mind can focus on the things that you need to focus on. Thus, these standing asanas that you just saw can be elementary for contribution towards physical health and towards mental well-being. For instance, I don't know, if you are willing, can you come up, the demonstrators? I want you to show Paschima Hasta Kriya. Paschima Hasta. You can turn around if they have to see your back. Okay. So can any of you try that? Just where you're sitting, you could sit, you could stand. Could you try some of that? Gomukhasana. पोचते का हात? आता दुसरा हात ट्राय करा. नमस्कार पुढून किती सोपं पद्धतीने करतो. मागे नमस्कार घालता येतो का? हो तर उत्तम. आज होतंय, होपफुली 15 वर्षानंतर सुद्धा टिकेल. Okay? So do you realize that some of you, okay, you found it comfortable, and some of you could not find it comfortable, or your hands were not reaching. Now understand one thing. The human body has many movements, okay? It has a various range of movements that it can present. For it, sorry? Human body has a wide range of motions that it can do. For instance, one is this. Can someone show me Hanumanasana? Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana? The human body has a wide range of movements. Sushmita, could you just walk? For instance, when we walk, our range of leg movement is this. If you want to climb up a step, you would probably raise your leg a little higher. Can you show me Uttithasta Padangushtasana? But, Uttithasta, stand up. Uttithasta Padangushtasana, just one of you is okay. So a wide range of movement is possible for the human body. Okay? So, Trivikramasana, Supta Padangushtasana 1, Supta Padangushtasana 4. Okay, so if you, can they show this or on the screen, please? Okay, so when one of my team members was just walking, that is the range of hip movement that we are accustomed to. We want to climb up the steps or climb up a big rock, the range slightly increases. But God has equipped us with this range of movement. Okay, relax. So God has actually equipped this human body with such a wide range of movement. The thing with the body is, you use it or you lose it. Okay? You use it or you lose it. So the gift that God has given us with, if we don't keep at it, if we don't keep working with it, for it, the body is going to discard as though it's an unnecessary movement. That's why what you could do as children, you can no longer do now. Right? Even just simple driving. You suppose somebody just learned to drive, and because of the renovation work going on our roads, you decide to not drive, and you go back to your vehicle 3 years down the line, you are unable to drive with that comfort. The thing is, if you don't use it, you lose it. What the yogis found out thousands of years ago, okay, you can relax. Can the camera be on me? They are not going to demonstrate now. The thing with what the yogis discovered was that if you work on the body through the asanas via all these range of movements, it keeps your body healthy. It's like lubricating your joints. How do you lubricate your machines? You oil them, the nuts. If it's unused for a long time, it makes noise, it rusts. In the same manner, it happens to the human body. And as I told you earlier, the body and mind are together. So the moment the body starts this decay or it is not used and it starts to disintegrate, the mind is going to follow. And the thing with flexibility, so how many of you here think you're flexible? Nobody? How many of you think you're not flexible? If you're neither flexible nor not flexible, you don't know. Middle, okay, medium. The thing with flexibility is, if you can work, see for those of us who are not flexible, the thing is when you work on your flexibility, it changes the chemical secretions in the body. Okay? As the body and mind is one unit, there are millions of chemical reactions going on in the body each moment. When you work with the asanas, this flexibility in the body secretes certain chemicals. It makes the muscles of the body build up a certain tenacity, because of which our body is resilient to face stress. You know of the various physical discomforts that trouble us when we are stressed? Some of them get a headache. Some of them get rashes on the skin. Kai lokana pitta varta. Kai lokana they get a catch. This area, there is a lot of pain. loose motions, constipation. So different people react to stress differently. Okay? By the practice of asanas, you develop this overall health in the body system so that your body and mind together can make you focus on the task that you need to focus. Now we think asana means a stretch. Can you come back for Supta Padangusthasana, Uttanasana? Half of you in Supta Padangusthasana, half of you in Uttanasana. The thing with these days is that yoga has become so popular that आपल्याला वाटतं की आसन म्हणजे थोडं स्ट्रेचेस करायचे. मी आज थोडं स्ट्रेचिंग केले म्हणजे योग केले असं आपण अर्थ समजून घेतो. Understand that yoga and stretching are not synonymous at all. Okay? For instance, can I ask you to raise your arms up? Even the demonstrators, you can come up. Just raise both your arms up. Okay? This is an asana where both the arms are lifted up. You will call this a stretch. But now suppose I tell you that from the elbows, can you stretch up? कोपऱ्यातनं हात उंच करा. Okay? खाकेतनं, from the armpits, can you stretch yourself up? Do you realize the moment your mind goes to these areas, the arms went up a little higher and higher? Correct? Okay, relax. So stretch is one thing, but asana is an altogether different thing because what happens in the asana is your mind comes and combines with that stretch. नुसतं स्ट्रेचिंग मध्ये आपण गाणं ऐकत स्ट्रेचिंग करू शकतो, टीव्ही बघत स्ट्रेचिंग करू शकतो किंवा भांडणं करत आपण स्ट्रेचिंग करू शकतो. म्हणजे भांडणं करत आपण योग करतो का? No. There is mindfulness when you do the asanas. You see, our existence depends on prana prajna. Like you have head and tail of a coin. You have prana and prajna. Relax, the demonstrators. Prana and prajna. Prana म्हणजे आपल्याला सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे. It's a local term. Prajna is exalted intelligence. Wherever your mind will go, जिथे प्रज्ञा जाणार, तिथे प्राण जाणार. Where the intelligence goes, there prana is going to go. It can't be the head of a coin is going, but the tail of the coin is staying back. It will not happen. Chale vatam, chale chittam, says Hatha Yoga Pradipika. As the breath is, so the mind is. In that manner, where your mind goes, there the prana goes. Okay? Where the prana goes, there the prajna goes. They exist together. Through yoga, through asanas, how we get health is because your prana, prajna component goes to different parts of the body in different asanas. नुसतं stretching करून prana आणि prajna नक्कीच तिथे पूर्णपणे जाणार असं घडत नाही. Whatever is, little possible, superficial level it may go. But पूर्णपणे prana आणि prajna तिकडे पोचत नाही म्हणून stretching आणि asana हे दोन्ही भिन्न गोष्ट आहे. Okay, this we have to make it very clear. Now this mindful awareness that I'm talking about is internal. It is not external. That is number one. Now let me look at a few other asanas. Can you show me Vrikshasana, Ardha Chandrasana, Virabhadrasana 3? Now tell me one thing all of you. How many of you think you are focused human beings? तुम्हाला फोकस करता येतो. कसं आपण मुलांना अभ्यास करताना सांगतो, फोकस करायला पाहिजे, टीव्ही बंद कर वगैरे. How many of you here think that your power of focus is good? Again, if you see, it's less than a dozen people, okay? Less than a dozen of people. Okay, arms down. Now we have the asanas which can train the nervous system, okay? You can start. Okay, if the last person is also able to see the stage? Yes. Okay. Okay, so if you look at these asanas train the nervous system for you to focus. If the demonstrators want to look at who all are sitting on the stage, they won't be able to balance here. For them to be focused there, relax. For them to be focused there, it is not just, relax. It is not just, oh, there is body control, so they are focusing. You can go back. You know the story from the Mahabharata, where the Pandavas and Kauravas, as children, as they were growing up, there was a big rivalry. So then, Dronacharya, the guru who was teaching them archery, gave a test, a challenge. Okay? So on the branch of a tree was a parrot. It was a parrot that was hung, and the task was, you have to aim at the eye of the parrot. So Dronacharya calls these brothers one by one, shoot the eye of this parrot. The Kauravas try, Duryodhana, Dushasana, they all come by one, and Dronacharya asks them, what do you see? Oh, I see the parrot which is on the branch. No. Next. What do you see? Oh, I see the tree and the parrot. No. Next person. The next person comes. What do you see? Oh, I see this tree and the mango tree behind. No. Next person. The Pandavas. This happens to each one of them until Arjuna comes on to the shooting area. And then Dronacharya asks Arjuna, what do you see? And Arjun says, I see the eye of the parrot. And then Dronacharya gave him permission to shoot, and Arjuna successfully shot that eye of the parrot. Okay? So now, think of what focus is. Your body system, your sense organs have to be trained to such an extent that what is the task at hand, it is only that you have to focus on. You should be oblivious to everything else around, like for Arjuna, the branch, the tree, the other tree, the sky, the ground, his brothers, his guru. Nobody was visible, and it was only the eye of the parrot that was visible. It does not come in an instant. It does not come in an instant. Your sense organs have to be trained to coordinate with your body. How do you do that? Just because I want it to happen, it will not happen. The yogi says, stay in the present moment. What is yoga? To be in the present moment. पण हे करायचं कसं? How do you stay in the moment? When we are delighted, we are carried away with our delight. When we are partying with our friends, we are carried away in the party. When we are sorrow, we are crying, we are carried away with that negative emotion. There is anger, we are carried away in the emotion. How do you be in the present moment? The clue here, the answer to this is, through the practice of Ashtanga Yoga that Patanjali has formulated, it's a comprehensive system for you to work on the body, the system inside, the sense organs, the intelligence, the mind. When all of them are combined and integrated as one team, then focus is possible. There are different categories of asanas, and I just showcased a certain category which, for instance, trains the nervous system. Now, before I go ahead, I would actually like to share my story of how I started yoga. I came to Pune in the year 2000 for my BSc in Fergusson College. And before that, my schooling was from Chennai. I did, until my 12th, I was in Chennai. So when I came to Pune, I decided that I'm going to try yoga. Everybody is, going on and on about yoga. So many people are coming to learn from my grandfather. What is this yoga about? Karuntar Bagu. So with that aim, I just started attending classes with Geeta and Prashant, my aunt and uncle. I remember one such class. Amruta, can you come for Ardha Chandrasan? I remember one such class. It was my first few classes. And I was to do Ardha Chandrasan. And everybody in the class was so comfortable doing this position. But when I tried this pose, my tukar, to let them know what is Ardha Chandrasan. Tuza tukar. Tuza tukar, akha pose kar. So, but when I was in this position, I was so shaky that I could not balance here. I constantly kept falling. The foot that she's standing on, it constantly kept dancing a dance that I simply could not hold my body firm at all. And मला कळलंच नाही की तो पाय स्थिर करायचा तर करायचा कसा. And then suddenly Geeta auntie from the center of the hall was instructing us, don't look at asanas from your point of view. You will never learn. She said the body is a universe in itself. Each part is connected to the other part. Learn their language. The top leg, okay, the top leg. This leg, hold it so much firm. Hold your quadriceps, hold your kneecaps, all these areas, hold it so much firm that your mind has to be only with this area and lift this area up. And the moment she said that, this leg suddenly, come down. This leg suddenly became stable, in control. And this was extremely surprising for me, की मी सगळं काम केलं वरचा पायावर. But I became stable on my standing leg. वरचा पाय आणि खालचा पायाचा संबंध एवढा आहे that by just making that top leg firm, I could be so firm on my bottom leg. And then she said, yoga, which is enlightenment, is described as a spark of wisdom, a light which dispels all darkness. In that pose, in that instant, she showed me the transition of how mat to mind, mind to mat is a simultaneously bi-directional process. But for me, as a 17-year-old girl, I was delighted that, oh, I got my Ardha Chandrasan. So one day I went to my uncle, probably the next day, he was practicing in the institute, and I went and told him, Mama, I have Ardha Chandrasana, now I can do it. And he said, okay, very good. He told me to go, in the institute, if any of you have been there is a platform. Is there a platform here? Yeah. Yeah, but they won't be able to see, no? So you have to use that front stage. Okay, so there is a stage in our institute also, and he asked me to stand on the edge of the stage here. Okay, so now you're lucky there are flowers, so you can stand here. He asked me to stand on the edge of the stage, and he said, now go to Ardha Chandrasana. Ata ha pay varti yayiच na. It constantly kept falling back. I tried to lift my leg up. मला जे काय मावशीने सांगितलं, वरचं पाय, quadricep, knee, ankle, धड, सगळं मी केलं, पण काहीही फरक पडला नाही. I just couldn't come up to Ardha Chandrasana. And then he said, okay, doesn't matter, come down. Now turn around. And now do Ardha Chandrasana. Okay, I'm at the edge of the platform. And he says, lift the leg up to Ardha Chandrasana. And I just couldn't lift the leg up. I constantly kept falling forward. काय घडते मला अर्धचंद्रासन जमते का जमत नाही ओके माझा एकच प्रश्न होता that am I able to balance in Ardha Chandrasana or am I not able to balance in Ardha Chandrasana and if at all I fall in Ardha Chandrasana मी पुढे पडणार का मागे पडणार एवढं तरी कळलं तर पुरेच आहे आजसाठी so I wondered what is going on and then my mama came and supported me and then I could balance there on the platform and then he said you never know what you really know until you know what there is yet to know. Okay? You never know what you really know until you know what there is yet to know. Now you think of our vision, okay? We are all here gifted with eyesight, we are able to see. But do you know some insects can see what we cannot see? Violet and red are the extremities of the spectrum that we can see. But insects can actually perceive ultraviolet light that we can't perceive. Unless we know that there is this mechanism, we think we are able to see everything in the universe, whereas that is not true. In the same manner, our audible range, what can we hear? There is a certain range of frequency that the human ear is able to hear. Lesser and beyond that, the human ear will simply not catch. But there are animals which communicate with each other using a frequency range which is beyond the human audible range. So the bats, for instance, communicate with each other using these sound waves which don't fall in our frequency, so we can't hear. So unless we know what there is yet to know, we really cannot claim that we know. Math and mind happened to me there in a moment. हे झालं दुसरं दिवस. तिसरं दिवस college had a break, सुट्टी होती. So I decided to go to the hall and practice, कारण मावशी पण practice करते, मामा पण practice करतोय, म्हणजे काहीतरी चांगलं असेल बाबा, मी पण जाऊन करीन. So I went to the institute to practice. आणि मला आजोबांनी विचारलं, काय ग, अर्धचंद्रासन चाललंय, असं दिसतोय मला. Now I don't know from where he understood, where he saw that. Anyway, he said, come and do Ardhachandrasana. आता मी घाबरले. एक तर there were so many people in the institute, so many people in the hall from all across the country, all the people from different countries. आणि त्यांच्या समोर मला जर अर्धचंद्रासन जमलं नाही तर काय व्हायचं? आजोबांना राग येईल का? ते चिडतील का माझ्यावर? So extremely nervous, I went towards Ardhachandrasana. And then my grandfather told me, you have come to Pune for your graduation. He said, the professors will teach you everything about the external world and call it knowledge. त्याचं तू करणार काय? मला प्रश्नच कळलं नाही. Okay? The professors will teach you everything about the external world and they will call it knowledge. त्याचं तू करणार काय? What are you going to do with that? Now I didn't understand Ardhachandrasana आणि हे college आणि knowledgeचा काय संबंध? So I drew a blank. And then, as I was nervous, can two of you come? One person do and one person hold the other person in Ardhachandrasana. And then he held me, he supported me, and he said, do you realize what the hip is doing? The hip of the standing leg, how is it contributing to your alertness quotient? And as he held me and mobilized my standing leg's hip there inside, I suddenly felt empowered. I felt like I was so powerful in my Ardha Chandrasana. There was absolutely no tension to hold my pose, and I enjoyed that few seconds in complete freedom with no nervousness of being able to fall. And he said, do you realize how the hip is contributing to that? And then he brought me down and he said, until you know this inside world, until you know this inside world, until you know yourself subjectively, of what use is this information about the outside world? What will you do with all this information when you don't know yourself? What will you do with all this information when you don't know yourself? One of the starkest examples that we have is about the scientific advancement that we have, the atomic bomb. It was considered such a great step. You know, what a beautiful, what a powerful discovery. But the same nuclear reactions can be used for something as destructive as an atom bomb or something extremely contributory for energy demands of the planet. So until you know yourself subjectively, what is the use of all the information, of all the knowledge of this outside world? So for me, why I shared this story is, for me, this study of yoga, transitioning from mat to mind, was not a journey that was linear. I was subject to learning yoga where mat and mind and mat happened simultaneously in every class that I studied with them. So now, for instance, the standing poses. Now that I share this Ardha Chandrasana story with you, you can just extrapolate that all the standing asanas that you see have a whole lot of things going on, and it is not just mere some physical movements that you see from the outside. Let us look at some forward bending asanas. I'll just go through a different set of categories so you get an idea of how the mind and matter integrated. For instance, okay, proceed. You see there is extension going on in the back. The muscles are being extended. When these muscles are being extended, understand one thing, that you are accessing the organs. So when they bend forward like this, what happens to the pancreas? What happens to the intestine? What happens to the heart and lungs is very different from what and how it is working when you are just sitting. What your pancreas is doing for you now is very different from what their pancreas are doing for them in an asana. Here again, the yogis took a giant leap, like when they landed on the moon. One step for man is a giant leap for mankind. With Iyengar Guruji's contribution, one step of man has been a huge leap for mankind. Now, if you look at endurance, sports, as we are in, many of you, I see the students associated with sports colleges, I'm told. You talk of endurance. How do you build up your endurance? Just by going to the gym and doing a lot of cardiovascular activity, is your endurance going to build up? Some strength, yes. Some endurance, yes. But understand that endurance is not just dependent on the body. Okay? The endurance, initially it comes from there. But then all the actions that they perform, beyond the physical strength and power, there is the mind and the will. If the mind and the willpower, the Ichha Shakti, are missing from what they are doing, the endurance is not going to sprout forth. And understand that mind power is much stronger than body power. Now, as I was telling you, in stress, there are different things that happen. Body flexibility, mind flexibility. By now, you're all convinced that we have to work on this system holistically. Can we have some chairs, Sonia, if you can hear me? Okay, but what about people who can't bend like them? Okay, what about people who can't bend like them? Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras speaks of Sarvabhauma Mahavratam. Okay, Sarvabhauma Mahavratam, meaning it's a universal vow. Manje kai, how are our vows? As long as things are easy, mi karin. Okay? On Ekadashi, we are able to fast. But party, Friday weekend, we are unable to fast. Understand? So it is not just a decision that you make that I want to fast. What your willpower, what your emotions are dictating at that point are vital to decide how your action is going to be. So as I was saying, there may be people who are unable to bend forward. Can you sit on a height and show Paschimottanasana? So just by sitting on a stool and head on the stool. Now, props, like you see, they are sitting on props. Uttanasana tikade karte. Props are very popular these days, okay, extremely popular. Jema Azobani, when Guruji thought of props in the 1940s and 50s, people were so angry. People were so angry ki योग सारखा असा गुह्य विद्या आहे, such a supreme, secretive vidya, and इथे तू काहीतरी असं खुर्ची बिर्ची घेऊन काय करतोय? They didn't like it at all. So all those Sanskrit Pandits of those time looked down upon Sundar Raj Iyengar, B.K. Iyengar that we commonly know as, for thinking of these innovations. But as a society today, we have come such a long way that we are accepting this with open hearts and open minds, for which he had to fight a lot. Okay? Now, as I was telling you, ki mala tar pude वागता येत नाही. If you sit on some height and you bend forward, तुम्हाला वागता येणार आहे. Doctors म्हणतात, if you have a back pain, you should not bend forward. Sushmita Uttanasana. So now, when you are unable to touch the floor, the doctor is right. When you have hurt your back, pude vaku naka. Because the moment you bend like this area is becoming smaller. And when this area is narrowing, म्हणून तुम्ही जेव्हा X-ray, MRI घेता, result येतो ना, space, L3, L4 space, किंवा nerves are being impinged. So all of that is happening, so the doctor says don't bend forward. But what Iyengar thought of was, by doing Uttanasana on a support like this, you see the space cannot narrow at all. Because of this support, naturally, this space is going to be maintained. He जर मी काढलं and she does Uttanasana in the center, she is going to contract this area. So yes, the doctor is right. But what B.K. Iyengar found out with his personal practice was, when I bend forward, I find so much health in my back. Why is it that the medical science is saying don't do? So his whole system of learning was self-exploratory. He didn't have teachers here in Pune. He learned from his guru Krishnamacharya in Mysore for 2 years. And once he was sent to Pune, he was all out on his own. Guru ni sangitla, Krishnamacharya ni sangitla, go to Pune and teach yoga. So the only thing in Guruji's mind was, I have to show the people what is yoga. I have to show the people the wonder that yoga is. I cannot allow a bad name to come to yoga. I cannot allow a bad name to come to my guru. This was the only emotion that he had as a young boy of 18 when he came to Pune. Okay? And that time people were angry here in Pune that such a young boy, what he's going to come and teach us about yoga? Because those days yoga was considered a mystical subject. It was for the sadhus and saints. It was not for common man like you and me. So people did not like it. But Guruji said, if my guru has sent me, there is value in it. So success or failure, survival or death, I float or I sink. But this is my subject and I'm going to give all out for this. He would go without food. Sometimes he only lived on tap water. He would go without food with the singular aim that I'm going to impress upon the people the value of this subject. And today what you see is the creation of all of that intensity that he had as a young boy of 18. So as I'm talking about props, you may also look at older people. So you may look at the older people. Hamstring injuries. In so many sports, hamstring injuries are likely these days. So when you have a torn hamstring, how will you sit and bend forward? But your sitting and bending forward is important for your high blood pressure. It is important to keep your diabetes in check. It is important to tone the spleen, liver and pancreas. But how do you do that when you have a torn hamstring or an injured back? So what he found out was that with the usage of props, she is able to bend forward without any negative tension on her legs, on her hamstrings, on her back. So with the advent of props, what B.K. Iyengar did was he made Sarvabhauma Mahavratam a reality. समजा मी जर व्रत घेतली की मी अष्टांग योगचा पाठ मी घेणार. But if I hurt my back, how am I going to do the asanas? If I've hurt my back, how am I going to sit for dhyana? Okay? How am I going to be a good human being. How will I do seva if I don't have a healthy back? So what B.K. Sengar did with the advent of props is what Patanjali said. Sarvabhauma Mahavratam, universal vow. Come what may, wherever I am, whichever country, whatever time of the day, whether I've eaten, not eaten, I've slept, I've not slept. I am well, I am unwell. Vrata is a vrata that has to be followed. The advent of props made this a reality. Now, let's go to another category of asanas. Let's look at some body knottings. When we think of physical आणि हे spiritual, आपण कसं हे दोन भिन्न गोष्ट करतो. Okay? For instance, जर मी देवळाला जाणार तर ते spiritual आहे. मी जर जप करणार, it is spiritual. But if I do asanas, it is considered physical. But when you go to when you go to a temple, you go to the temple with your body. So why is that considered spiritual? When you do japa, you do a japa with the japa mala, which is a prop. You do japa with your tongue, which is a physical part of the body. So why is it that japa, going to a temple, is all considered spiritual, but doing asanas is considered physical? So what differentiates the physicality and the spirituality of any act is the hetu, the intention. Now, knife. Consider an instrument like a knife. Who all use a knife? A murderer may use a knife. We use knives to cut. A surgeon uses a knife to heal. You get it? The same knife is used as a life giver by a surgeon and a life taker by a murderer. The object is the same. Vastu samye chitta bhedat tayor vibhaktaha panthaha, says Patanjali. The object being the same, the knife being the same. Okay? Vastu samye chitta bhedat. Depending upon one's mental conditioning, each person views the same object differently. So a murderer will see a knife differently, a homemaker will see a knife differently, and a surgeon will see a knife differently. So what is instrumental here is the hetu. So spiritual ka physical. What differentiates this is your hetu. If I go to a temple to impress my guest that I am going to a temple, there is no point in going to a temple. Okay, it is your hetu that matters. Let us look at some body knotting asanas. How many of you here think you're physically strong? Just a minute before you show. How many of you here think that physically you're fine? You're not in the negative spectrum. Pretty positive spectrum for physical strength. Okay. अधोमुख वीरासन, तुम्ही पुढचं करा. All these seem like, what he is doing is seeming like an extreme form of body contortion. Now, I told you to raise your arms up for, okay. So, when I asked some volunteers to raise the arms up in Urdhva Hastasan, most of you did it. Now, if I call you as volunteers to try what they did, how many of you would be willing? Yes, I expected. I expected. The thing is, when the going gets tough, when the going gets tougher, our ichha, our involvement tapers down. Okay? What happens in life is a little difficulty we are able to face. त्याच्यापेक्षा थोडं किंचित जास्त we are able to face. But if the going gets much tougher, we say no, this I cannot do. Our ichha shakti goes down. Doesn't matter if we have really tested ourselves की खरंच जमते का जमत नाही. आपण त्याच्याकडे बघणारच नाही. We are going to say no, not for me. Okay? So the mind behaves differently in different situations. सोपं काहीतरी करायला सांगितलं तर मन एका पद्धतीने वागतं. अवघड काय आलं, मन वेगळ्या पद्धतीने वागतं. When you are happy, mind behaves certain way. When you are sad, mind behaves in a certain way. And Krishna tells Arjuna, samatvam yoga uchyate. How to bring the samatva? Yes, to read and to understand it makes sense. But when traffic मध्ये somebody comes वेडं वाकडं and we get so angry, तेव्हा समत्व आणायचं कसं? जेव्हा ट्रॅफिक पुढे हलत नाही, तेव्हा समत्व आणायचं कसं? That is the question here. Now the different categories of asanas, you saw some standing, you saw some forward bending, you saw some things in which they were taking the leg on the back. What's happening is, whoever is doing it, is dealing with your own body-mind system in different situations. Zamte, zamat nahi. Avgad, sopa. Dukte, chan vatte. In all these things, you are putting your body and mind to test. You get it? You are putting your body and mind into that field zone. Like for sports, you have your field in which you prepare. Your body and mind are put in the field of asanas where it is equipped to handle these different kind of situations. So it becomes a science of mind making. Okay? Patanjali says, Paramanu Parama Mahatvantosya Vashikaraha. For samadhi, for dhyana, the yogi is able to meditate on an atom. The yogi is able to meditate on the universe. You can't say, if it is small, I will do it. If it is big, I can't do it. A yogi has this power in his mind where atomic meditation and universe meditation are both possible. So some people say, Kashala evda sagra avghad karaycha. Finally, योग तर ध्यानच आहे ना. मग थोडं stretching करीन तेवढा बस. No. Because unless you know how your mind behaves in an extreme situation, you are not ready for something as extreme as samadhi. Okay? Arm balancing. How many of you wake up in the morning at the first call of your alarm? Thamba. 1 minute. How many of you wake up at the alarm वाजायला लागला आणि तुम्ही उठलात? Alarmच वाजत नाही. असंच उठता? शाबाश. Okay. How many of you keep using the snooze button? Snooze. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. आता diet. How many of you have been on a diet at some point? Diet. Nobody? So this example won't work. How many of you decide to get up in the morning and go for a morning walk, but you are unable to get up? You decide that you're going to do yoga in the morning, पण उठता येत नाही. आत्ता उठता येतोय, पण पावसाळ्यात जमत नाही. आता जरा थंडी कमी व्हायला लागली, मग उठता येतो. But when it was 6 degrees and 7 degrees, was your fervor to get up in the morning as strong as it is during the summer? No. Different situations, your mind is behaving differently. You decide, मी मोबाईल बघणार नाही. आता परीक्षा येणार आहे, मी मोबाईल, सोशल मीडिया, इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, यूट्यूब ह्याच्याकडे बघणार नाही आणि तुम्ही यंत्र इकडे ठेवता. पण in 10 minutes your mind is going. एक नोटिफिकेशन वाजलं किंवा नोटिफिकेशन सायलेंट करतो, मग दर 5 मिनिटाला बघत असतो, नोटिफिकेशन आलंय का, नोटिफिकेशन आलंय का. Right? That's how our mind functions. So we say, oh, poor self-control. Okay? How do you get this self-control? मी ठरवले, मी मोबाईल बघणार नाही. I decide with strong conviction. How many of us are able to stay with that intensity of conviction? Arm balancings. Now suddenly if you see, you see the arms are doing what the legs are doing all our lives. We stand on our legs all the time. So the legs know how to stand. Now suddenly in these category of asanas, you're making, Urdhva Kukutasana dakhota, suddenly you're making the arms to do the work. Now if you recollect your COVID lockdown time, okay, see the pose, then you'll understand what I'm saying better. COVID lockdownच्या काळात, when nobody could come to your house, did we not realize the value of the maids, the drivers? Yeah? When that didn't happen, when you had to go and buy your stuff, okay? When Swiggy was not there, Dunzo was not there, your maids could not come, the workers that you had could not come, you realized their value much more. How much otherwise we took that for granted. Life is such that often we take things for granted. This mat to mind when we talk about, yoga makes the seeker so sensitive that he or she is able to have a darshana of what is going on. It's a darshana shastra. So the yogi never ends up taking anything for granted. म्हणून योगीला कायम एक gratitude असतो. देवानी हे दिले. The earth does this, the trees do that, the bees for instance. You know how much the bees do for us? If the bees were to become extinct, they say survival of human beings will not be possible because pollination is because of them. So much because of them. So the things that we take for granted, suddenly when the situation is reversed, we understand their value much better. So what we are used to doing is standing, walking on the legs. But the moment you do certain category of asanas like this, in which you are doing balancing on the arms, physically it looks like, oh wow, they are doing balancing on the hands, oh he's strong, oh she's strong, oh so much control, oh त्यांनी किती ह्याच्या आधी practice केलेलं असणार, ते सगळं खरं आहे. All of that is true. But along with that, there is one important factor. And that is, they have suddenly communicated with their arms in a completely different manner. Like you communicated with your maids. What you understood about your maids during lockdown was completely different. The moment the roles are changed, there is communication which happens with their arms, communication which happens with their eyes also for that matter. त्यांनी जर इकडे तिकडे बघितलं ह्या आसनांमध्ये तर ते खाली पडणार. कुठे बघायचंय हे सुद्धा एक आसनाच्या टेक्निकमध्ये एक महत्त्वाचा भाग आहे, which B.K. Iyengar found out through his own personal practice. So, communication skill between arms and legs, trunk and back and head, eyes and arms, body and mind. All of this is enriched with the practice of different category of asanas. Let us look at inversions. Viparita sthiti, म्हणजे काय? उलटं उभं राहायचं. Okay? All the time we stand on our legs, and now here is Viparita sthiti where you have to stand topsy-turvy. What all happens because of this? The respiratory system, circulatory system, nervous system, glandular system, all of those systems have a wonderful force flow of prana and prajna. That health comes because of this. They strengthen willpower, they improve memory, they improve intellectual capacity and emotional stability. These days, this emotional stability is talked about. त्या काळात पण त्याचा प्रॉब्लेम होता, पण हल्ली people have become sensitive enough to speak about mental well-being, depression, illnesses, which was not the case in the past. All these asanas build up one's emotional stability simply because your brain, which is the seat of your ego, is down, and the heart, which is the seat of your life survival, is higher up. The master is up and the servant is down. Usually hierarchy आपण जर बघितलं. You say, oh no, why did I do this? Okay, when you speak, you say, "Arey, मी असं का केलं?" And if I have to identify myself, I will say, "I am Abhijata." I don't say, "I am Abhijata." You may say, "Oh God, here is Abhijata," but I won't say, "I am Abhijata." Okay, so inbuilt cellularly, we have different parts of our body which are meant for different things. So heart is the seat of emotional intelligence and brain is the seat of intellectual intelligence. When we go for Viparita sthiti like this, the seat of intellectual intelligence comes down and the seat of emotional intelligence comes up. There is a swap because of which their dynamics change. Show us some variations. Parshva, Parivritta Ekapada, Ekapada, Parshva Ekapada, Shirshasana, come down. So now all these inversions that you're seeing, that you saw, there are many more varieties, but because of constraints of time, I will not be able to go into much details. So one thing is, it's a perspective change. Usually the feet are down and the head is up, and now suddenly the feet are up and the head is down. It's a completely different neurochemistry that is going on deep inside your body. That is number one. How many of you here can swim? I'm just thinking of examples that you can relate to. Yeah, so 40% of you. So now if you think of floating in the water, okay? तुम्ही जर काही केलं नाही आणि नुसतं स्वस्थ तिकडे राहिला तर you're able to float, correct? Those of you who learn to float. तुम्हाला जर त्याची भीती वाटली तर you're going to sink. But if you're just laying there flat, by the force of buoyancy, you're just going to end up floating. So what is required is a perspective change. It's a perspective change that I can be here, have faith I can be here. So in the same way, in these Viparita Sthiti asanas, when you're topsy-turvy, it's a big perspective change that a human being or a practitioner who does that gets. Okay. Now I would like to touch upon backward bending asanas. If you can just show us some Shirshasana, time is short. Shirshasana to Viparidandasana. Vijay and Sushmita, full arm balance. You can stand and arch back. Okay? Come down. Now what happened is they are bending their back backwards. Do you see that? आपण पुढे वागतो. शूलेस बांधायला आपण पुढे वागतो, वस्तू उचलायला आपण पुढे वागतो, पण आपण मागे क्वचितच वागतो. So the spine loses its flexibility when you don't do that. That is number one. Number two, think of they say, oh, mind is not phenomenal. Physical म्हणजे body. So arms आणि legs म्हणजे body. थोडं heart आणि organs वगैरे म्हणजे body. मन वेगळं असतं. It's a mental, psychological thing. So philosophy is for the mind. And असं सगळं आसनं करणार, थोडं पळणार वगैरे म्हणजे that is physical because it is with the body. Now tell me one thing. The nerves, the neurotransmitters. Okay, you've heard of them? Nerves, neurotransmitters. Nerves are those cells in the body through which message passes. How do we think? We think because the nerves are able to do something spectacular, of course, and something specific. Neurotransmitters. When you do something that you like, a certain neurotransmitter is released. And that neurotransmitter says, do more of it, because I want more. That's how we fall a prey to addiction. Okay? Similarly, there are neurotransmitters for different moods. Okay? So now these nerves and neurotransmitters are responsible for your mind and mood. But nerves and neurotransmitters are physical body and chemical body. It's chemicals. Do you understand how this border between physical and psychological blurs? It is not a strong border. Ki this is physical, this is psychological. Nerves and neurotransmitters are in the transition between physical and mental. And these backbendings that you just saw now are a very important category of asanas, like all the other category of asanas, because they build up the strength, the tenacity in your nerves and your spine. And once the nerves and spine are ready to face, you are ready to face life. Yoga gives you hope that you can face life. And there, yoga is a life giver and not just a pain killer. Okay? Now, before I conclude, I will touch upon pranayama as I have 5 more minutes. Yeah. So now, pranayama. It's again a very popular thing these days. आपल्याला काय वाटते? श्वास घेता येतो ना, म्हणजे सगळेच प्राणायाम करतील. पण शरीर आहे, म्हणजे सगळे आसनं आपण करू, असं का वाटत नाही आपल्याला? What you saw, where you clapped, that they looked very complicated, you have the body, so you can also do. If you can breathe and do pranayama, why can't you do this with the body and do the asanas? Why is it that when things are convenient, we will choose a certain route, and when things are not so convenient, we won't choose that route? Pranayama, it's ayama of the prana. Prana distoy आपल्याला? नाही. Electromagnetic microscope madhun suddha prana disat nahi, but you can feel the prana. Do you feel energetic or you don't feel energetic is palpable by every person, by every living species on earth, but it cannot be measured. Can you please put it on silent? I don't know if it's an alarm to tell me your time is up. So, pranayama, when prana is something so subtle, जे दिसतच नाही आपल्याला, पण एवढं त्याच्यात जर ताकद असेल, then how can we just say deep breathing is pranayama? पोट आहे, जेवू शकतो, म्हणजे जास्तीत जास्त जेवू ना, म्हणजे ताकद वाढत राहील. Do we believe in that theory? No. Overeating is greed. But why is over-breathing not greed? Do you get it? Your breathing is a different physiology altogether. Oxygen, carbon dioxide चं जे काय बॅलन्स आहे रक्तामध्ये, मेंदू काय करते तेव्हा, बाकीचे ग्लँड्स काय करतायत तेव्हा, all of that contribute to how you breathe. Pranayama is something which is dealing with prana, a subtle entity. म्हणून त्याला नुसतं आपण ताणलं जरा श्वास ओढलं, doesn't work. It's like if you have a pipe of a certain diameter, okay, and you push water through it with a lot of force, will every pipe be able to take it? No. Depending upon the strength and size of the pipe, you have to send the water in it with a certain force. If it's a very small pipe, you can't send water with a huge force, the pipe is going to burst. The same thing with your nadis through which prana flows. The same thing with your trachea, with your windpipe, with your bronchi and bronchioles which are dealing with respiratory exchange. They are very thin membranes. The nasal membrane, थोडं ऊन वाढलं की आपल्याला रक्त येतो नाकातनं. Correct? So the nasal membrane itself is so subtle, we can't deal with it so casually ki श्वास घेतला म्हणजे प्राणायाम झाला. No. Patanjali says yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. Okay? Tasmin sati. He describes the asanas and then he says tasmin sati shvasa prashvasa. After the asanas, when you have certain characteristics, you have attained certain things, तेव्हा तुम्ही जेव्हा श्वासा बरोबर काहीतरी कराल, then it qualifies as pranayama. So, the spine, the organs, the heart, the lungs, the diaphragm, the most important respiratory muscle, all of that should be built up. Their capacity should be built up. Their elasticity should be built up. Their strength and softness should be built up in such a way that you're able to breathe without force. Then pranayama happens. Okay? That is why Guruji Iyengar said, you have to start with the asana before you go to pranayama. And then it is pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So when this conference is titled Yoga, Mat to Mind, please understand that our yogis were equipped with this brilliant spark of wisdom with which they could see this entire spectrum. The whole horizon was built, was understandable, it was comprehensible to them. So today, as we are in this modern age where information is rampant, exchange and sharing of thoughts is possible, we have to stand here for each other and experience this nectar that yoga gives us in a manner which is safe, in a manner which is reasonable, and in a manner which is understandable. So yoga, mat to mind, is a simultaneous process. It does not happen one after the other. And the perspective for this, if it comes, then it happens. If the perspective that mat and mind is a simultaneous process does not come, दृष्टिकोन जर बदलला नाही तर तो फ्रूट मिळणार नाही. तुमचा जर दृष्टिकोन बदलला तर मॅट अँड माइंड कॅन हॅपन सायमल्टेनियसली. अँड फॉर दिस विजडम वी आर एव्हर थँकफुल टू B.K.S. Iyengar, to all the yogis around the world who made this possible. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for such an insightful session. Your guidance on the integration of mind, body and soul was enlightening. And your own journey from mat to mind was also really empowering. Once again, let's give a big round of applause. Thank you so much. We'll be taking a short tea break now, and we'll be resuming our next session at sharp 12 o'clock. That is 12 p.m. So we'll be having, the tea will be served outside, and we'll start our next session of Dr. Kamal at sharp 12. Thank you. Handle this problem as well, peacefully. I will request Dr. Kamal to rejoin the meeting, exit and rejoin.
Hey, check. Hello. Test. Hey.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? You can hear me now? Hello. 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 Hello.
Is he audible?
Yeah.
He's audible.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello?
Yes, you're audible, sir. You're audible.
Ah, okay, thank you. So, where are we? We start again. So, you all are ready? So, sitting taller, back straight. Bring your hands to the heart center, eyes closed. And visualize Lord Ganesh in front of you. Oh. अस्य श्री महागणपति महामन्त्रस्य दूर्वासऋषिः अनुष्टुप्छन्दापि गणपतिदेवता गं बीजं ह्रीं शक्तिः स्वाहा कीलकं सर्वाभीष्टसिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं क्लौं गं गणपतये वरवरद सर्वजनमेव शमानय स्वाहा ॐ शान्ति 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 Feel blessed, rejoice as you slowly, very slowly open your eyes. Namaste. Greetings to you all from Thailand. Right now I'm in Thailand. Actually, I travel a lot to different countries. So now I'm here at this moment. I'm very happy to be here in this International Yoga Conference. Thanks to Dr. Narendra Guruji for being here as well, and also all the national, international yoga teachers, Ayurveda practitioners, and Vaidhyas who are here. And thanks to all the delegates and all the speakers who have been here. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for being here with me. So today I'm going to discuss about body types and how body types can actually help improve health, wellness, peace, and happiness throughout the entire humanity and nature. So that is the beauty of Ayurveda, which Ayurveda has given us tremendous techniques, tools to improve our quality of life. So by the way, when I mentioned the name Vata, Pitta, Kapha, many people now know it. Even in many other countries they know it. But many of the Indians know, they say, yeah, I know it, but many don't practice. They don't follow. Actually, this is a very great science which has given us amazing tools to keep ourselves very healthy. Because without understanding your body type, you would not know what kind of exercise is good for your body type, what kind of food is right for your body type, what atmosphere favors you, and what kind of a mind you have. You cannot understand until you dive deep into this. You see, some people in other countries where I travel and teach, people think, oh, this is only for Indians. No. I say, it's not only for Indians. Just like yoga, it's for the entire world. So Ayurveda, the word Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge. So it has tremendous knowledge and science that will help people live a very happy, healthy life and maintain the balance with the nature and also with the society and also your environment. Is all actually increases a good balance when you understand what your body type is. Usually people know about body types Vata, Pitta, Kapha. By the way, it's pronounced Kapha, not Kapha. Okay, and these are called doshas, not dosa, not the restaurant where we eat the food. No, it's called dosha. So these are the body constitution. So when you were born, that is what the constitution you are, and you live all your life with that. Of course, you can balance the other elements in your body. You see, before you understand the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, you should understand where they actually come from. The Sanskrit word for this is called prapancha, that which is a combination of all the 5 elements. Panchabhuta Bhutas. The 5 elements you all know: Bhumi, Apaha, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. So earth, the water, the fire, the air, the space. If you just go more deeper understanding the chakras, you understand from the base of the spine to the throat, these elements are there right there. You can actually balance by practicing the chakra balancing technique or another powerful mantra which many people know, but they don't know the real meaning of the mantra. This is a very powerful ancient mantra. It's powerful to balance all the elements. You know what is that? Om Namah Shivaya. So Na is earth, Ma is water, Shi is fire, Va is air, Ya is space. So the Om is the higher consciousness. So when you chant this mantra, actually you balance all the elements. We all have these elements, but in a different composition. Let's say Vata people. Our Vata is a mix of space and air. Pitta is fire and water. Kapha is earth and water. They're all good, but people need to know how to balance these elements in their body. All the other elements are there as well, but these are more dominant. According to Ayurveda, we talk mostly about 3 body types, but there are 7 in now. But once you know the 3 body types, you can actually understand all the other body types very easily. Because there are 7, that means Vata, Pitta, Kapha. These are like very rare, having only Vata body type, or Pitta body type, or Kapha body type. So Vata body type is, when it comes to combination, then it's different. So from the 3, it goes to another 4th one is Vata Pitta. Some people have, most of them actually have the 2 combinations, 2 dominant constitutions. One is higher, one is major, and the other one is the second one. So the 3rd is, the 5th one is Pitta Kapha, and the 6th one is Vata Kapha. Then the 7th actually is all the combination of all these 3 Vata Pitta Kapha together. So these are the 7 body types. But just by understanding what body type you are, you can actually understand what are the combinations that you are with. Because like I mentioned, Vata, Pitta, Kapha alone is very rare. So we actually are a mixed combination, mixed doshas. So how do you know that these doshas, and how do you really understand what dosha you are? So here actually there is a quiz. You can find it in Google. It's just I would like to know what body type I am. You'll find it. And also I actually wrote 2 books. One is Yoga for Your Body Type. By the way, this is in Vietnamese. It's completely, I gave everything about what kind of body type you are. You have a quiz in the front, you have the diet, you have nutrition, you have what kind of herbs and spices that you need to take in order to balance your dosha. And also I wrote another book called Yoga for Men, because most men in other countries especially, I know in India a lot of men do it, but mostly in other countries, many men don't do yoga. They think it's just a stretching, or it's just a kind of female practice. Anyway, they are also improving now. Many men are coming in practicing yoga. So I would like to explain a little bit briefly about how you differentiate it. First is, we actually see the physical character, the body structure. The second, we don't stop there, just the body. We go with the next one, that is mind, characteristics of the mind and emotions. And then the third, we also understand their lifestyle, where they are living, what kind of lifestyle they are living, what kind of environment they are in. So all this comes, and that is how you know actually your body time. So let me give you some. Here I'm going to ask you some questions. Maybe if you have a paper and a pen, you write down, maybe quickly you will know what body type you are. Just a short and a quick one, but of course more detail you have in this book, or you can get it in English, which I also have it on my website, masterkamal.com. So let's say here I ask you some questions so you can answer, write down. So the first one when I ask you is the V. V means water. The second one is P. P means pitta. The third is K. K means kapha. So the first question which I ask you, by the way, answer them actually what you are and not what you want to be. Many times some people just want what they want to be, their body. Then they keep on ticking, they want to be slim, more on vata kind of. No, you should see what you are right now. So let's say body shape first. Vata people are skinny or lean body type. They look very lean in body type. And it's very hard for them to put on weight, no matter what kind of food they eat, how much they eat, doesn't matter, they can't put weight. That is it. Now, the P is a medium frame body type. Not big, not skinny, but they are medium type. And they can lose weight fast and they can also put on weight easily, not a problem. But kapha people is another story, the K. Even you look at the food, they become fat. So that's the saying I always say, because kapha is very easy to get fat and it's very hard to lose. So that is the body type. The second question I'm going to ask you is walk. Do you walk very fast? So that is V. Or if you are a medium paced walk, not like too fast, too slow, that is P. And if you are a very lazy, dull, slow walking kind of a person, that is K. The next one is sweat. It's very hard for you to sweat? That is for Vata people. Easy to sweat is P. Pitta people and Kapha people. When they do some activity, then walk, move, do some exercise, they sweat. So that is kind of the next is appetite. Your appetite is on and off. Sometimes you feel very good, you can eat, sometimes you're not. So that is Vata kind of people. Pitta people are always hungry. And if you don't get food, they are angry. But Kapha people, okay, if there is no food, doesn't matter, they're fine with it. Next is weather. Do you like weather, hot weather? Okay, or you don't like the cold weather, so that is free. And if you're a Pitta person, you love cold weather. Kapha people, any kind of a weather is fine, doesn't matter. Skin, you get dry, sometimes very itchy, the skin is so dry and itchy, that is weak. And Pitta people have freckles and moles on the skin, and they are very hot on the skin, they feel very hot, like a fire on their skin. So that is Pitta. And Kapha people are oily and smooth kind of a skin they have, that is Kapha. So sleep is not very good, but they like toss and turn, and it's hard for them to sleep. That is Vata. Pitta people are medium sleepers. They can sleep, they wake up, and they can go back to bed. Kapha people, don't need to ask. They can sleep like a log. Okay, and it's very hard to do. Emotions. Vata people are very emotional. They get nervous, tension, anxiety, so much. Pitta people can be very angry and irritable, and they can feel irritation and angry so fast, okay, and very impatient. Kapha people, doesn't matter, whatever it is, it's very hard for them to get angry. So next comes the action. You're quick and restless. You're overthinking. That is Vata kind of a person. And now comes the Pitta person. You are very sharp, very creative, very focused, very strategic when you do things. That is a Pitta kind of person. Kapha person, you need a lot of inspiration in order to make them do something. Okay? It's a little hard. Eyes, if you come to eyes are big for Kapha people. Vata people very small. If you look at their eyes, you think they're sleeping. Okay? And the medium size or eyes or red eyes is pitta person. Fingers, there's slim and long fingers for vata people, medium size fingers for pitta people, for kapha people are medium but they are large, like like iron hand. That's how you feel when you hold their hands. The hair is thin and dry and itchy for vata people, normal, but hair falls easy for pitta people. For kapha people is thick, oily and also curly hair. That is for kapha people. Lips thin for vata. For pitta people is medium and soft. For kapha people they are large. Now comes to teeth. When it comes to teeth, they have uneven teeth. That is vata. And for pitta people, they have the teeth very sensitive and easy to bleed. The weak gums. And that is for pitta people. For kapha people have a very strong and firm teeth. So this is how you can. Now what you do is you calculate all that and you will get how many your vata, how many your pitta and how many your kapha. With that, you can actually know what body type you are. For example, some people are vata, pitta. Some people are pitta, kapha. Some people are vata, kapha. So just find out, but more you can know by getting into more detail, because we talk about emotion, we talk about your characteristics, we talk about your lifestyle, and we talk about your physical structure. All this matters when it comes to finding out the right body type for you. So I have in this book, you can try it. You can get the answers very easily. And also I can send it to you all so you can find out answers by yourself. Because these are 30 questions which you need to be able to answer them. Okay, you ask your family or your parents to just roughly know what you are type, because sometimes we always want to give good ones. So find out what is good. So then coming to the work, what is the best kind of a work, profession for vata people? Then when it comes to vata people, they are very active, moving. So that for them, it's like salespeople are, moving around, traveling to other countries, doing some sales. This kind of work is very, very good. For the people, they are very powerful. The way they think, they are entrepreneurs, business, politics, financial. The kind of jobs are very good for them. For kapha people are more like teachers, and more, more stable. They love the garden, they love the nature. So that kind of a work is very, very good. They are good administrators. So now, all body types are very, very good when they are in balance. But when there is imbalance, we call vikruti in Ayurveda, in Sanskrit. When there is imbalance, that is a problem. So we need to know how to really fix the imbalances. Most of the people just do exercise. I'm sorry to say exercise is not enough. Because exercise you may do 1 hour, but you're eating 3 to 5 times in a day, yes? So you have to fix the food first, not the exercise. Exercise comes second, the food comes first. So there is even a saying by Hippocrates, the food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. So understand, when you change and when you actually improve the right food for your body type, that works wonders. Even Ayurveda mentions one word. It says, if you're eating unhealthy food, there is no point taking any medicine, right? Or even you take a good medicine, but your food is unhealthy, it does not work for you. So, if you're taking a healthy food, you don't need medicine at all. That is what Ayurveda talks about. So please come starting with your food first. You see, once you fix your food, then it really helps improve the quality of life and longevity, and many diseases can be eliminated just by changing the food and the liquids that you take. Are very, very important. You see, I was very, I know about India. You see, India more than 40% of vegetarians, but I'm sorry, vegetarian doesn't mean it's healthy, because vegetarian is healthy, but doesn't mean the way you eat is not right, because most of them are sweets, excess carbs. These are very, very bad. That's why India is one of the biggest countries which has high diabetes and heart problems because of this. So you should really know and balance yourself by eating right food. You see, Indian food is mecca in the world. It's great. They have great taste, variety of foods. But the way you cook, the way you eat, at what time you eat, all matters. That makes you enjoy life, enjoy the food you like. You can eat that very well. But unfortunately, people are eating too much carbs, too many sweets, and they think they're vegetarians. And that is where they're causing a lot of problems. You see, some people say, I don't drink. You know, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but they eat. You see, many men have pot bellies. I call carbs belly. It's not about beef belly. And many people have actually fatty liver. It's because it's not about alcohol, it's non-fatty liver also we have. Okay? Non-alcoholic fatty liver. So this is very, very dangerous. So you should understand what are the healthy foods you need to take. You can use fantastic oils, but the point is the oils which you are taking outside are not healthy. The canola oil, the sunflower oil, safflower oil, they are all genetically modified. And the wheat is also not the real one. From 1960 it has changed. And that's why many people have gluten intolerance. Previous days, before 1960, we used to eat very well, no problem with eating that, wheat. But now, the wheat is not real wheat, is what we eat. So this can cause a lot of problems. That's why when some people come to get treatments with me in regards to diabetes, I tell them cut down coffee, no wheat, and also no milk. I'm sorry, those days is different. Now it is all injecting hormones, and it's causing a lot of problems for your body. So instead of milk, I ask them to take plant-based milk, that is like pistachio, almond. This kind of milks are very natural, very healthy, don't cause any problems. So you need to correct your food first. So here I'm going to tell you a little bit about what foods. Vata people are very sweet people. They can take sweets. But the point is, the problem, you're taking the wrong sweets. Okay, the chocolate is filled with a lot of sugar, and I understand one thing. Just if they say 1 gram of sugar is there, understand there are 4 spoons of sugar inside that. So please be careful. So sugars, what we are eating is also not very, very good. Understand any kind of sugar is sugar. You can say honey is good, but it's still sugar. So you got to be careful. Good doesn't mean you can take a lot. So you have to actually have an understanding of what is moderate and how much you need to eat. Then I tell you, you won't feel hungry, because carbs actually are the one causes hunger cravings. You will feel hungry a lot. But if you give the right nutrition for your body, exact what the cells need, you won't feel hungry. Like me, I take one main meal, one big meal in the afternoon. That's the right time, because Ayurveda talks about morning should be very light, and afternoon should be the main meal, and evening should be again light, because your digestive system sleeps. So you need to also give rest. We all bombarding our digestive system by eating more and more and more, and we simply compare, oh, I am not like that lady, I'm not that fat, or I'm not that fat like this man. No, that is not the way you see yourself. You see what your height you are, what is your weight. If you are more than that, you work towards that. Don't compare with other people. So this is another very important, simple things very important to look around, okay? So for people who are Vata people, if they take salads, no. Because Vata people love salads, because they want to be more skinnier and more skinnier, because Vata salad is when it's more air. So the more you eat salad, the more you're like imbalanced. So you need to have, if you like some salads, instead of salads, you take soups. That's the best. So, and also fat-free diet is not for Vata people. They need to eat fat. When I say eat fat, I'm talking about healthy fats. There are a lot of healthy fats, like avocado, a lot of extra virgin olive oil, ghee. Of course, don't take too much, by the way. And also coconut oil. Sesame oil is very good for water people. They can take it in, they can also rub on their bodies. It's fantastic. So you have to balance taking more of fats, because understand your brain is 60% fat. So you got to eat fats to have it function very, very well. Right? So coming to Pitta people, they need to avoid salt, excess salt. And the best salts, if you want to try, is Himalayan pink salt. They're not even sea salt. I don't recommend it because sometimes they have microplastic. So you got to be sure they are very good quality sea salt. Of course, you can have. Otherwise, Himalayan pink salt is the best one which you can try. And these are very good. So they need to avoid salts, Pitta people, by the way, and spicy foods. In fact, some of the Pitta people love spicy foods. Can you imagine they're eating spicy foods and you want to talk to them for a dinner meeting or some meeting? They will be very frustrated, angry because they are spicy, they are hot, they are also Pitta. So it's dangerous. So they need to cut down on it and give more salt. You see, our nature, climate also changes a bit. When it's a hot weather, the nature gives us fruits which are very cool. Similarly, you have to balance that in our body. Very, very nice when you understand the nature. We are very close to it. And couple of people need to be very, very careful. They need to avoid any fried foods. They need to avoid excess rice. Please understand, white rice has very, very low nutrients, very low. Yeah. So that has high sugar. People think I don't eat sweets, but understand the wheat, the sugars, the rice, all are sweet. Wheat is sweet. So many things are sweet. Don't think you're not eating sweet as sweet, but these are sweet as well. So you need to cut down on that and go for millets, eating good kind of millets, rolled oats, steel cut oats. These are good ones. You can try. And take more vegetables, more spices for Kappa people are very, very good. In fact, Vata also goes well with eating a lot of healthy spices like turmeric, like ginger, all they are very good to relieve any pain and inflammation. So these are some examples. There are many more. It's not enough time to cover all that. So let me come back to what happens if you are imbalanced. So if Vata imbalanced, so notice you might feel constipated. Your sleep issue, you will have migraine headaches, you have tension headaches, you have sleep problems, you can't sleep well, you got insomnia, you got cold feet and cold hands. These are the signs that you are already Vata people are imbalanced in it. So fix it with the methods of Ayurveda and Yoga. So another for Pitta people, they have rashes in the skin and they get acne, they get moles, they get hot, very hot skin, and they get diarrhea, loose motions, and they become very angry, frustrated. These kind of things are Pitta imbalances. Kapha means they become lazy, they're dull, they cough a lot, especially wet cough. They have mucus, they have sinus problems. Always in the morning they get up, they have cold. These are the signs telling you're getting imbalanced. So you got to get back. You see, you're a doctor by yourself. Just understand your body tells you what is the problem. So once you understand and you change and give a right condition to your body, it heals very well. So these are the things which you can, and there are a lot of yoga postures which you can do. Let's say for Vata people, good, they can do hot yoga. Okay, they can do kind of holding postures like balancing postures, warrior Virabhadrasana postures, and all the seating, Paschimottanasana, all these are very, very good to help relieve constipation and stiffness and pain in the hips. And for mind, because you see, Vata people cannot lie down in Shavasana. Let's say if some of you are teachers, notice the Vata people will be moving when you ask them to lie down in Shavasana. They can't be still. So Vata people, for them, it's good for them to practice breathing, like Brahmari breathing, and Kapalbhati, and alternating muscle breathing, and deep diaphragmatic or yogic breathing. They are very, very good for Vata people. When it comes to Pitta people, you have to give them the cooling down breathing exercise. Like Sitali, Sitkari, Brahmari is also very good because the mind is so powerful and aggressive, they want to get everything. That kind of a mind they are. So they need to calm down and balance. Like I said, all body types are very good when you're in balance. So come back to balance and learn how to relax. So best exercise for them is vinyasa, we can do postures, and also swimming is very, very good for them because they can calm down themselves. Sometimes I joke to people when you're very pitta, jump into a swimming pool and then later come and discuss, you'll be fine. So like that. So a couple of people don't do this slow yoga or holding the postures too long. No, no, no. They need to be vigorous postures. They need to move. And for kappa, avoid asking them to lie down in Shavasana because that is easy for them. The moment you say lie down in Shavasana, they are already snoring. I think some of you would have known this, okay? So actually, kappa people should be very, very active, doing vigorous training so they can get out of laziness, get out of dullness, and they have great qualities like compassion, love, and balance. So that will be well when they do this yoga. And they have to do Kapalbhati very, very good for them, very regularly. And they can do Brahmari, they can do alternate breathing, then yogic breathing, like also Ujjayi is also another very good exercise for them because many of Kappa people, due to heaviness in the body,
Hello. Sir, you are not audible, sir. Sir, you are not audible. Sir, am I audible to you? Sir, you are not audible. Not yet audible. Let's give a big round of applause for him. There were some technical difficulties. Our next speaker is Dr. Gandhar Mandalik. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Dr. Gandhar Mandalik. He has completed his bachelor's in electrical engineering, Government of College of Engineering, Pune, holds a master's degree in clinical psychology and a PhD student in the Faculty of Medicine. From the University of Sydney, Australia, he holds the position of the Director of International Yoga Programs at Yoga Vidya Gurukul. He has directed over 220 international yoga programs with more than 7,500 foreign nationals as participants. Along with this, he has also been teaching science of yoga for the last 24 years, conducted more than 50 workshops across various countries. He has authored 2 books and written over 100 articles in yoga. He has designed a yoga point application for Android and iOS users. The app is designed with a unique concept of personalizing the yoga poses for every individual depending on their health conditions. He is formerly known as Rishi Sannyasa, an initiation given by Swami Saraswati of Bihar School of Yoga in 2006. Let us extend a warm welcome to here and express our gratitude for his virtual presence at this conference.
Hari Om. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
It's actually an honor for me to be invited to this conference that is organized by the Chandrashekhar Agashe College of Physical Education. I have stayed in Pune, so I'm aware of this institute. It's a very respected old institute working in the field of physical education and has really contributed to the society in a very positive way. So I'm very glad to be invited to this program. Unfortunately, I could not personally come there and talk with all of you guys. So please accept my apologies, and especially the organizers. So my subject today is about Panchakosh. Now, all of you connection with yoga. So you always have heard Annamaiko, Pranamaiko, Manomaiko. So what is it? That I just want to give you some different perspective, and I will try and include some scientific ideas connected with this course, also for your ease of understanding. If you look at the idea of yoga says that our existence, when we say I exist, everyone knows I exist. Everyone tells themselves, yes, I am here in this moment, in this time and space, I exist. At the moment you say I exist, who is this I? That's $1 million question. When I look at my body, I say, this is my body. It means that body belongs to me, but I am not body. Body is connected with me, but I am not body. Then you say, I have energy. It's my energy. Energy is not me. It's my energy. Mind, my mind. I am thinking in my mind. I feel these emotions in my mind. So my mind is not me, but it belongs to me. The next is this lot of knowledge and wisdom that I have. I have intelligence, I can take decisions, I can make right, wrong choices. You made a choice to become a graduate in this field of physical education. It's a decision. So there is knowledge, there is wisdom, but that is in me, I'm not that. Then who is me? That's a very important question. And the yogis always have tried to answer this question. They just went on trying to figure out who is this real me. And in this journey to find, they discovered that I exist at 5 different levels. Modern medicine, medical science till date only understands physical body as it is. But while their understanding is limited to physical body, the medical science also has so many questions that are not answered. Interestingly, yoga answers all of these questions because yoga does not limit our idea of existence to one physical body. And that's where the concept of Panchakosh comes into picture. The first kosh is called Annamaya Kosh. Now just see the word that is used to describe this kosh, Anna. We all know what is Anna. The moment I am saying Anna, many of you are hungry, right? It's a food time. I'm not going to make it very long, so don't worry. The moment we think of food, what is food? Food is actually, we are eating 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, and Akash. And we are taking them in every moment. Air going in. With air, water is also going in. When I eat food, I am eating earth, I am eating fire. All of these elements I am eating. You will be wondering, how do I eat fire? Chili. I was just listening to some last lectures from Kamalji. And he was telling you what food is good and what you should be eating. It is all about elements, ultimately. The food that we eat is actually the elements we eat. We eat sweet, that is earth and water. If we eat chili, it's fire. If we eat a lot of beans or say food like popcorn, we are eating air. So all of these elements that make this Annamaya Kosh, they go through the food, air, water. And that is our basic body, which you can see through your sensory organs. I can see my body. I can touch it. I can feel the temperature of the body. When the body is alive, there is temperature. If the body is dead, it becomes too cold. The smell is there for the body also. So all the 5 sense organs sense this physical body. And it's a very important existence. The weight of our body is the physical weight. The Annamaya Kosh. The next layer, is it only limited to Annamaya Kosh? I'll give you some simple example. What is the difference between a dead body and a live person? The body is still the same. If someone weighs 65 kgs, after the death, the weight is still 65 kgs. Weight doesn't change. But the body is not functioning. So the physical body is not the only layer that we exist. Then what is the next layer? And the next layer is Pranamaya Kosh, pranic body. You will be finding it a little hard to relate with this because you can't really see this body through your sensory organs. You can't see it through eyes. But I ask you a simple question. If you see a very angry person sitting next to you, do you feel the anger? Do you realize that the person is very angry? If you see a depressed person in your house, that makes you feel depressed because that energy body is communicating with you. Now this energy body is Pranamaya Kosh. Is there any scientific correlation with this? Actually, partly yes, partly no. The mainstream science does not accept the Pranamaya Kosh. But there was a technique developed by the Russians. It's called Kirlian photography, aura. And most of us have heard the word aura. And this aura is an indication of the Pranamaya Kosh. It is hard for the gross mind to accept that. But we subtly, very subtly, differences we can notice it. Even looking in someone's eyes and you say, oh, you're looking very good today. Or someone is not very well. So we can look in the eyes and we can feel that their energy is very low. So this energy that we are talking about is that aura. You know, when we say it's about some people, say, I don't like that person, his energy is very bad. The person probably hasn't spoken anything to you, but you still feel it. So the Pranamaya Kosh is not something that you can actually see, but you can feel it. That is your pranic body, your Pranamaya Kosh relating with the prana around. This is a very important dimension of our existence. The third dimension that we exist is Manomaya Kosh, mind. Now every one of you understand mind. Do you mind? Okay. We know the mind is there. But the $1 million question is, where is the mind? Ask yourself, where is the mind? Some people will say, oh, I'm hungry, so my mind is in the food. Someone will say, my mind is back home. Someone says, oh, I uploaded that Instagram photo. How many likes are there? Your mind is there. Someone is thinking, oh, what's happening? On the moon. The mind is on the moon. So this mind is who I am. Like I identify myself with that mind. But then it is, you cannot see it. Even if you can't see it, even if you can't feel it, it does exist. So now notice, the physical body is very gross. The pranamaya kosha is subtle. Very subtle existence. And mind is even more subtle. The mind has, the more subtle it is becoming, the less restrictions it has. The mind can go to moon, the mind can go in the past, the mind can go in the future. The mind can go anywhere. No restrictions of time and space to the mind. So this is pranamaya kosha. The science does not really go close and accept the mind. But when this cancers, study of cancer started progressing, people started trying to identify how the cancer is, how the certain tissues in the body get cancer, certain cells in the body become cancerous, how it is happening. And then they realized that every cell, there is mind. Now, I have brought this subject of cell. Let's talk about cell. The physical body exists, the physical elements, earth, water, fire, air, space in the cell, it does. Second level, pranamaya kosha. Does the cell have energy? It does. Cell has mind? It does. So there is mind in very small tiny cells also. Now this mind is a very, it becomes subtle, but it becomes more powerful. The physical body is not as strong as the pranic body, and pranic body is not as strong as the mind body. So the progression of our existence through annamaya to pranamaya to movement, they becoming more and more powerful and more subtle. This is very important for all of us to focus. Why the focus of yoga is towards more subtle bodies. Of course, yoga talks about broad body. I'm going to talk about yoga after I finish the next two koshas and come back to yoga and I'll connect yoga with these koshas. But this is a understanding of our yoga masters that the more deeper you go, the more powerful you become, but it becomes more subtle and hard to understand and hard to connect, hard to control. The physical body is hard to control, but the prana is even more hard, and the mind is even harder to control. And you will easily figure it out. I mean, some parts of our body, some muscles we can control, but not heart, not digestion, not brain. We cannot control all of this. Pranic body you go, and it is even more difficult for you to control prana. And mind, forget about mind. Can it control your mind? If I tell you, don't think of food for next 1 hour, can you do that? No, not possible. The moment I say don't think, you will be thinking about food. Because mind does not listen to us. Emotions. We know, anger is bad. Can you control your anger? No. But who controls your anger? Anyone outside can control your anger. Someone looks at me, that can make me angry. Someone doesn't look at me, that makes me angry too. Someone smiles at me, makes me angry. Someone doesn't smile at me, makes me angry. Someone talks to me, makes me angry. Someone doesn't talk to me, makes me angry. The point is, my mind is something I cannot control. Pran also I cannot control. Body, little bit I can. So the more deeper I go, the less easy it becomes more hard for me to control. But they are higher energy dimensions. That also I know. The next question is Vijnana Kosh. Vijnana Kosh, knowledge body, wisdom. Vijnana, special knowledge that is of the cosmos. You will be very happy to know, and I want every one of you to remember this, that in your body there is knowledge of the cosmos. Every body particle is intelligent. Every cell has these little genes, little DNA. The DNA is capable of reproducing not only you, cloning. Have you heard of cloning? That's what I'm saying. The DNA is capable of cloning you, but it's just not about reproducing you, but it's reproducing human beings. And the whole system in our body functions so precisely, so perfectly. We mess it up with our lifestyle, but it is precise. That knowledge, that wisdom is there, and that is Vijnana Kosh. This is accepted to science because science has studied DNA and all of that. So science understands that the knowledge is there. The digestive system knows how to digest the food and how to convert certain food into bone, certain food into muscle, certain food into hormones, certain food into other tissues. So that is Vijnana Kosh. And then the last Kosh is Anandamaya Kosh. Actually, it's the original form that we exist. This is who we are. This is our true nature. I was telling you in the beginning of this discussion that I am not the body, I am not the energy, I am not the mind. I am not this wisdom, then who am I? I am that Anandamaya Kosh. And that Anandamaya Kosh is that pure state of consciousness. It is little difficult for us to understand. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this. But this is what we call as Atma. This is what we call as the pure state of my positive existence. This is a state where you find connection, you find you belong to this entire cosmos. Soham, I am that. That is the statement of our Vedas. Vedanta philosophy says Soham. I am that cosmic. That is that Anandamaya Kosh. Now what is the connection of yoga with this? I told you all these things, good for understanding. But if you look at Hatha Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga in a more subtle way, then you realize that the practices of yoga, such as asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, these practices are actually connected with this Panchakosh. Asana, yoga poses. You have very good teachers in college. Pallavi ji is a very good friend of me, and I know how good Pallavi is in asanas. So you have very good guidance there. These asanas, they are actually connected with Annamaya Kosh. So many different asanas. Because there are so many systems in our body, so many organs, so many joints, muscles. We need to keep all of them fit and strong. Because this physical body is important. And asana practice is for that. Shuddhi Kriya in Hatha Yoga, Shat Karma, cleansing techniques, Neti, Dhauti, Vasti, Kapalabhati, Pratak, they are all, Nauli also, they are all cleansing techniques for Annamaya Kosh. So there are a lot of practices in yoga which are focused on Annamaya Kosh because you need to purify that Annamaya Kosh to have that strength, to have that stability. Then comes Pranamaya Kosh. Now to Pranamaya Kosh, the other practices such as pranayama, very important practices of pranayama and mudra and bandha also, they are directly tackling the pranic energy. If you are doing pranayama, you will remember a verse from Hatha Yoga Pradipika said, Pranayamena yuktena sarva roga kshayo bhavet, ayukta bhyasa yogena sarva roga samudbhavaha. So if you practice properly pranayama, then it will destroy all the diseases. All diseases means physical diseases also and mental diseases also. Now I just have deliberately said this verse because the pranamaya kosh is a very interesting dimension of our existence because it controls physical body, that is annamaya kosh, and this pranamaya kosh also controls manomaya kosh. So through prana you can control body and through prana you can control mind, and that has become a very important subject and analysis for our Hatha Yoga masters. So they say that if you practice if you practice pranayama, you can destroy all the physical diseases and you can also destroy all the mental diseases. And there's another verse in Hatha Yoga which talks about prana, and it says, Jale vate chale chittam nishchalam nishchalo. If you control the prana, vata is prana. If you control the prana, you can control the functions of the mind. and which is very important for us to understand that this pranamaya kosh is the focus of hatha yoga because of its influence on annamaya kosh and manomaya kosh both. So pranamaya kosh connected practices pranayam, mudra, bandha. You must have done jalandhar bandha, udyana bandha, moola bandha, or other mudras like vajroli mudra, ashwini mudra, viparita karni mudra, khechari mudra. So all of these practices are pranamaya kosh. Then manomaya kosh, meditation, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, dharana and dhyana. So this is meditation. The next step, vijnanamaya kosh, is deeper levels of meditation, you can say, and anandamaya kosh is samadhi. So if you look at ashtanga yoga or hatha yoga practices, they are all focused on purification of this panchakosh. So when you are practicing yoga, you are actually handling and tackling panchakosh. So I hope you have got a little bit more information about this panchakosh. I'm sure most of you have studied and understood kosh before, but maybe what I discussed, I added some more information to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us virtually and gracing the event. Let's give a big round of applause. Now we'll break for
It's nice to keep the
lunch.
video up on because then I can actually see some people that I'm talking with. So thank you to the organizers, thank you to your college, thank you to Pallavi also specifically.
Or quickly talking about the very important topic, Kosh, Panchakosh. I know it is a very short time to talk about this topic. However, you gave your best and blessed us with your knowledge. Thank you so much once again. We are going to break for lunch, but before that, I just want to make an announcement that the next session will begin at 2 o'clock. And today we are blessed with the sponsorship of National Institute of Naturopathy, who have sponsored today's meal for all of us. So it's going to be millet-based. Some of the part of the food is going to be millet-based food because we've been listening to all the aharas. So let's try out millet-based food as well. Let's enjoy the lunch and come back at, the session will begin at 2 o'clock sharp. So we will be here seated before that. Thank you.